frequency radio.
The wicked one, obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code, not real nice.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, October 6, 2021. There's so many things I want to talk about, but I got to start right here, and it's, again, with the word belief. You know, for years, I've really gone after the cabal and the tyrants and the code they operate by and why they do what they do and try to wake people up to that, and it hasn't reached nearly enough people, and pretty much censorship has a lot to do with it, but another reason it hasn't reached, this work hasn't reached as many people as it should have, is because of beliefs. So many people operate in the realm of belief. Like a lot of people have beliefs that are something like, I only really believe in getting my information from the nightly news, or NPR, or the paper, or my favorite magazine. I don't believe in information online. Conspiracy theorists tend to reside there. You know, people will speak like this. They have these beliefs. There's a lot of people who they think they don't have to lift a finger in this world to help stop the tyranny and evil that's taking place because they believe that all they can do is believe. Yeah, they just need to believe in whatever was taught to them as a child, and that's good enough, you know. Here in the United States of America, where the majority of the population is Christian, a lot of Christians are under the assumption or the belief that, you know, the world is evil, and it's going to be this way until the return of Jesus. So all we can do is pray and believe, and hope things get better. And again, just think about this word, believe. It has lie right in the middle of it, and it's just one of the most awkward words, believe, when you write it out. It's like, wait a minute, why is it written that way? I mean, just sound it out. There's so many different ways it could be written than B-E-L-I-E-V-E, right? It's got lie just right there, right in the middle, literally. Again, B-E, the first two letters, L-I-E, the three letters in the middle, lie, and then V-E at the end, 232. What are the odds? And again, just think about our language. Lie, live. Live is lie with one more letter in the middle, right? Lie, live, believe. See, I've been noticing things like this for a long time and wondering, like, is all of this by accident, or is this arbitrary? Is there something more to this? Is it magic? Is it spells? Is it spelling? Because everyone in my world is believing bullshit. See, that's what I've realized for a long, long time. People are just believing bullshit. And since 9/11, I was 18 when 9/11 happened. Since then, it's been a lot more worrisome because everyone just believed the authorities' bullshit for the explanation of 9/11, which made no sense. But everyone just believed it because it came from the authority. And if you try to talk to these people, they'd get upset, or they'd say things like, no way would our government ever lie to us like this. And that's a belief, right? They don't have anything to support that other than a belief, which came from growing up, in a system where we've always been under the control of the authorities, From a young age, almost all of us have been in a classroom, a state-sponsored classroom, learning history the way our government wants us to believe it. They clearly didn't want us to think, you guys. They didn't want us to think at a young age because almost all the stuff that they gave us from the beginning was bullshit. Again, why do they teach us so many times about how Christopher Columbus discovered a land where people already lived? Why would something like that even be taught to us that way? But it is, and it was, and it still is. Why do our parents teach us about Santa Claus? Why? Because their parents did it, and it's fun? It's a fun lie? Some parents use it as bait all year, get their children to believe in Santa Claus so they'll have better behavior. It's like a cheating way, right, to get your parents or your children to behave. No presents from Santa if you don't do this, right? But again, just from the beginning, so many lies. And the thing about beliefs, beyond just, submitting to authority and not thinking, well, I guess that is the real big problem. Belief will stop people from looking for answers in actual truths, right? We live in a nation where probably close to, when I say we, again, I live in the United States, so I speak for the United States, but here in the U.S., what would you say? 80% of people have never heard of Building 7 on 9/11. Isn't that amazing? It's over 20 years ago now. I'd say it's got to be near 80%. Almost any time I'm in a group and I bring it up, almost everybody looks mystified, like they've never heard of Building 7. How is it possible that you cannot know about Building 7s the way it is in my mind? It's like, aren't people looking for answers? No, they're not. They just believe this official story. The official story didn't make any noise about Building 7. It's not even a part of what's in their mind, right? And then if you try to bring it up to them, they act like it's almost not real. Like, oh, I think I would have heard about that before. I'm more inclined to believe the authorities than you. Where do you get your information from? The internet? It's like, well, in the case of Building 7, they even reported on BBC 20 minutes before the building fell down that it had collapsed. So it was even on the news, actually. It was covered much later in the day when you were engrossed in watching the replays of the first two towers come down. But yeah, you guys, right now, living at this moment, you just see how bad it is. You see how bad it is. If you're watching this stream on YouTube, in the description of the video, I linked a video of a younger person who follows my work, and he's been doing some stuff out in the time of COVID, going out into public places and trying to wake people up. And he just recorded going into a pharmacy and asking to see the insert for the vaccines that they have, and they give him the pharmacist shows him the inserts, and he looks at it and goes, "There's no ingredients on here." And the pharmacist goes, "Yeah," and he goes, the younger person says like, doesn't that seem wrong to not know what's in the vaccine? And the pharmacist says back, he says, "Well, that's our government." And then the younger person says back to the pharmacist, again, you guys can listen to this clip yourself, but he goes, "Don't you have a problem," or something to the effect of, "Don't you have a problem, injecting people if you don't even know what's in it?" And the guy's like, "Nope, not at all." And then the younger person tells him, "What's wrong with that?" And then it gets into a verbal altercation. But again, the pharmacist, right? He's essentially just believing in the industry that he's a part of, right? He's educated in that industry. He invested a lot to get that education. If he goes against it, he gives up relatively a lot to him, a six-figure salary. I think last time I checked, the average pharmacist, it depends on what state you're in, but I'm pretty sure all 50 states you make over $100,000 a year. That's a good salary in the U.S., $100,000 plus U.S. And so, to go against the system that he's a part of, that he believes in, that there's consequences, right? And isn't it, that's how it is with all these beliefs when you really start to think about it. As a child, what would happen if you talked back to your parents and said, "I don't think I believe in the Jesus story because it doesn't make sense to me"? How would that go over with the authority, your parents, your minister, your congregation? You'd probably be, scolded, looked at as an outcast, shamed. How dare you not believe like us? But then you ask any of these people who'd scorn this child and say all these things to him that, for not believing, that could be eternal damnation. If you asked any of them to prove anything they believe, all they could ever fall back on is what they were taught as children from this book that we have to believe is the official word of God, a God that condones slavery and all sorts of things. And again, I mean, just look at it. How does it get to be a world full of lies where people are living the lies and just going along with the lies every day? Doesn't it all start with the fact that we were all made to be believers of authority from a young age? And isn't that all everyone's doing right now? Just believing the authority. The authority's looking out for us. The authority has our best interests. And I don't know how anyone can believe this. I mean, it's like, I see how it happens, but it's hard. Even though I'm living it, it's like, God, what is wrong with people, man? How can you still be taking their word as truth or something you should invest in? I mean, they've been lying to you your whole life. It's just for the believer that the lies are never acknowledged. They've just been believing the whole time, not questioning, making excuses. So that's going to be the topic tonight when we get to the calls. Is there anything good to belief? Is there anything good to believers? I mean, all things are good and bad in this world. And if I really wanted to put my mind to it, I could probably come up with a thing or two that's decent about believing. It might really get you through something that you would otherwise not get through. And I think that's a big part of what religion's always done, opiate for the masses. But yeah, this whole belief thing, you guys, I think it needs to be torn down, It's just something that needs to go away from culture. It needs to not be a part of our culture believing. You just see how dangerous it is. Look at it right now. Everybody... Look up the word lemming. Lemming is being part of a group that's leading, everybody in that group is leading themselves to certain destruction. That's what a lemming is. So tell me we don't have a society of lemmings. I mean, how could you say we don't? How are we not moving towards destruction right now? Giving up rights and liberties in the name of safety? I mean, how many people over countless centuries warned against these tactics? In this society of believers, for the tyrants, it's like stealing candy from babies, isn't it? Taking away our rights and liberties, making us march along to their drum. But again, just think about the language. Lie, live, believe. Tell me we don't have a world full of lies with people living them and people like investing in those lies and protecting those lies. And shouting down people who point out those lies. And tell me it's not because these people were all raised to be believers. That'll be tonight's topic. And again, when you do call in, try to be right to the point. If you're nervous, you don't need to say that you're nervous. Most of the time, I can't tell if you're nervous unless you say you're nervous. Just, take a nice deep breath. You're just talking to me, the guy in the white t-shirt. But and if you're worried about the audience that's listening, it's people like you. I mean, who's listening to this program? It's people like us who are in the same boat, and of course the trolls, and they don't even count anyway. So don't worry about them at all. But if you call in tonight, just try to get right to it. Try to get it out in a minute or two, and make your point. And yeah, I'm open to being persuaded that I'm wrong about this believing thing, but again, I'm looking at the world right now and saying, how is all this possible? And I just keep coming back to the same thing that I've been on for a long time. The reason this is happening, that people are just marching along to the tune of tyranny, giving up their rights and liberties, not noticing the evil that's being done and the way we're being mocked, it's just because their whole life they've been believing and not thinking and trusting. Again, that's what comes out of beliefs, right? So beliefs allow people to invent truths, Their beliefs become the truths. You see it all the time in my comments. The only truth is Jesus. I don't know how that would be. Let's just say Jesus is the truth. How would Jesus be the only truth? I mean, it's like, what does that even mean? Nothing else is true in the world except for Jesus? The only thing that's true in the world in your mind is a belief. Okay. Again, to me, that's such problematic language. And the woman I had on 2 weeks ago, who, told her story of how she met Jesus, which wasn't, I don't think it was persuasive to anybody at all. She's one of these people that's been, hanging around saying things like the only truth is Jesus. And again, she believes that Jesus came to her, but she couldn't answer the question of why Jesus allows so many people to hurt and abuse children. Like I asked her, why doesn't Jesus show up in a doctor's office where a child's about to get a needless vaccination from one of these criminal for-profit companies? And why doesn't Jesus intervene? Say, whoa, 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 whoa. Have you read my book, Revelation 666? Did you know these psychopaths simulated this pandemic 666 days before they declared it? Let me show you what else they're doing. Let me show you this really is the Word of God. You won't have to believe anymore. I'm going to prove it right here. Here I am, Jesus, here and now to stop the evil and the tyranny. Guy left a bunch of comments this week about how he's quitting the movement because he's sick of me ragging on about his Jesus, and he knows Jesus is the truth because he's been very sick for a period of time, and he's been in immense pain, and there's been 8 times to date where he prayed for Jesus to take away his pain, and his pain disappeared. And, I listened to that story, and sure, I mean, maybe that is the case, or is it mind over matter? Why did Jesus let you get so sick that you're in pain so much? Can you pray for Jesus to get rid of your disease so you don't have to be in pain at all anymore, so you don't have to pray again in a week for the pain to go away? I mean, it's hard to argue with these people because their minds aren't about thinking or rational thoughts or logic. Their thoughts are about, this is what I believe, and see, I'm proving my belief to myself. 8 times Jesus took away my foot pain. And again, did Jesus step down any time before you got sick and ill and had all this pain to say, whoa, buddy, maybe lay off the Doritos over there. You're going to be the next American in immense pain, waiting for Jesus to come save him, If you would have watched my videos 8 years ago, maybe you wouldn't be in so much pain. I've been talking about nutrition and eating right. Again, a lot of Christians over the years have also left messages about how they're going to watch me fall and burn and how, because I don't believe they've said that all this bad stuff's going to happen and they see it coming. And, I've been here, the whole time preaching the same message. And I don't feel like I'm a bad person just because I don't believe in the same religion as these people. Again, what I think, I don't like to use the word believe. What I think a person should be doing at this moment is recognizing the evil and fighting against it and doing all in their power to help stop it. And, again, I also think that there probably is a God. I can't prove it, but there's things that happen in this world that make me think there's signs from Creator to let you know if you're on the right or wrong path. And again, at the end of the day, I think if there is some afterlife like Christians believe in, something like heaven, I can only imagine that the qualification to get in there is that you lived a life that was positive, that helped other people. And that's the life I've always been trying to live for all of my adulthood. So yeah, I just get tired of listening to believers condemn me, especially believers in Christianity where their religion's taught not to judge, but then these Christians are always judging everybody. It's like, man, these people believe in something that I'm pretty sure they haven't even read. But that's the other thing about beliefs. Again, they kind of promote ignorance and not knowing, so why even take the time to know your own text? If all mom and dad said was that you just got to believe in it and believe in Jesus and that he died on the cross for your sins, and that's the most important part. I mean, you heard that from the woman 2 weeks ago. I asked her what she thought that, the thing to be doing was, and she said, believing. So I thought she was a perfect example of why we are where we are in the world, and I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong about this subject. I'm pretty sure if we lived in a world where you didn't grow up with religious indoctrination from the beginning and having to be sent to slave school to learn the lies the government wants you to know it, I'm pretty sure if we did not grow up in this kind of world where we weren't taught to trust in some authority, some greater than thou authority from a young age, I'm pretty sure if that was not happening to us, there's no way on earth that what's happening now to society would even be possible. Because we'd be more independent, we'd be more free thinking, we'd be less indoctrinated, and we wouldn't, be so just open to being taken advantage of in the way we are. So, I think I made my point, and I'm possibly being redundant. Let's let a few calls get in here, because we know after the break it's Rambo's time to shine. That's always the, thing that's different about the overall theme of the night. But once Rambo's segment's over for the final 2 hours, tonight we're talking about belief and what we need to do about it as a society. Because I think this is something that has to change. I think belief systems have to crumble. Otherwise, we'll continue to suffer. If not, I think it really is the plague of humanity, believing. Let's go out to Denton, Texas, 940. They are the first guest tonight. What's up, 940?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Hey, this is the guy in the comment who told you I had proof. I have 100% proof that the God of the Bible is the only true God.
Okay. And
would you like to see that proof?
Yeah, what's the proof? Sure.
Okay, so if you go to my YouTube page, it's Anomaly Bear. There's a video called Angels in the Fireplace. If you could put that thumbnail up on the screen for you and your viewers to see, this can only be explained with Scripture. The miracle that happened in this fireplace can only be explained through Scripture, and only through Scriptures of the Bible. And I have the Scriptures in front of me right now. And if you put that picture up, there's no one that can look at that and deny that it is a miracle, and it absolutely came from the creator of this universe. It's a metaphysical anomaly. Hold on one second. I have to blow in this breathalyzer real quick. I'm driving, just picked my son up from the airport. I'm pulling over to get these scriptures out and show you the proof, man.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'll just let you know I got the thumbnail up here. Angels in the Fireplace.
I'm sorry?
I got your video up here. Anomaly Bear. Angels in the Fireplace.
Yeah.
That peeping's loud. Do you just want me to show the thumbnail? The thumbnail's all you want me to show?
Yeah, just the thumbnail. So that's an angel blowing a shofar or a trumpet with a hand sticking up out of the pit, and then someone knelt over repenting. Okay, the first scripture that is only represented by a biblical text is repent, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, hence the hand in the middle of the picture. In the Bible, the fire is used in 3 symbolic messages. Number 1, it's used to send messages. Okay, here's the scriptures for that. He makes his angels winds and flames of fire. That is Psalms 104:4. It says in Hebrews 12:29, for our God is a consuming fire. It says in Exodus 3:2, this is one that everyone knows about. The angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire. Isaiah 66:15, behold, the Lord will come in fire and rebuke with flames of fire. So it's a symbolic of a message that only the God of the Bible sends his angels as ministers in flames of fire. The second, the other form of symbolism that fire represents in the Bible is judgment. Okay, all throughout the Bible, God's wrath is ministered to the world through fire. We have Revelation 20:15. If anyone's name is not written in the book of life, he is thrown into the lake of fire. Leviticus 10:2. Come out from the presence of the Lord. And he came out from the presence of the Lord, and the Lord consumed them with fire, and they died. It's all over the Bible. I could read you scripture after scripture of the Lord using fire as a form of judgment. The third way that fire is used to represent is purification. So the good news is God's judgment is a good thing, because I hear you say a lot like, why does he let this happen? Why does he let this happen? Well, we are eternal beings. We live forever, and you either go to one place or the other place. And so judgment is allocated to each person depending on what they what they chose to trust God within their life. And I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. I know God. I know Jesus. He sends me these signs, these wonders, these miracles, and he's sending them to you guys right now. It's in front of your face. And you today, you choose to live or choose to die. And you have hope in Christ. The simple gospel message is this: all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We all ate from the tree of knowledge and evil. We tried to say what was right and wrong. We didn't ask God. We did what we wanted. The wages of sin is death, but God is merciful. And he put his seed in a woman and sent his son in the flesh. Jesus lived a perfect, sinless life, healing and blessing all that he touched. But the religious people, the governmental institutions, the people that we fight in this truth community, the people who we expose, okay, they hated Jesus because he was taking their power. So they came up with a plan to kill him. And instead of God returning that wrath for wrath, eye for an eye, he chose to lay down his life and raise back up from the dead, proving that he's God and proving that he has all authority over death and eternity and sin and any kind of evil.
So we're about to go to commercial. I got to weigh in real quick. I know you've been commenting all week about how you're going to prove that the Bible is true. And again, I don't... You can believe what you want to believe, man. I mean, that's the problem with believing. But what you're sharing right now, just reading from the book and saying that this graphic from the fireplace is proof of all this, I mean, to me, you're proving my point about what's wrong with believers and the danger of belief. I mean, the reason you believe that the fire is proof of what you believe is because you believe in this book so much in this scripture. And you're thinking this fireplace fire is backing up what's in the Bible. I mean, it really does seem silly, man. I got to be honest. Have a good one. We'll be right back, you guys. Commercial break.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? IOLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to iolife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody,
A song lasts forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Dowsing is the ancient science of finding water and metal underground. Albert Einstein said that dowsing was tapping into earth energies which modern science as yet does not understand. Diamonds, silver, gold, and platinum objects have all been found using dowsing. And now, for the first time on film, we visit the pyramids, Stonehenge, and ancient sites, dowsing for buried treasure and tapping into this mysterious earth energy.
The Enigma Channel. Intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. It's Rambo's segment, but just to the last caller, that person was leaving comments all week that they couldn't wait to call in because they had definitive proof of Jesus. And honestly, I was looking forward to their evidence. I want to be persuaded that I'm wrong about Jesus, you know? And, I mean, all week they were telling me they just had the most hard-hitting evidence, and then a steel frame from a fire in a fireplace that reminds them of Bible verses is proof? You guys. I don't know what to do, man. I just don't know what to do. It's so sad to me living in this. I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, but I mean, it's just like I don't know, man. It's like the idiocracy is real, right? It's just the only reason that people believe this bullshit and just the nonsense that they have in their head is because we have been so chemically dumbed down. And you guys, with regards to what we've been doing, documenting all the 201s, I always talk about 1968, right? I never realized that on the 201st day of 1968, this infamous year where so many agendas went into motion, including coronavirus, I never noticed that on the 201st day of 1968, that's July 20th, the anniversary of the moon landing, that was the day of the first ever Special Olympics. And again, you guys, look into the deliberate dumbing down of America and the purposeful retardation of the population. I really don't think it was an accident that the first Special Olympics was in 68. I think it was symbolic for what was, coming. This is just right after the introduction of fluoride to water and GMO foods and everything coming out of the world wars that was learned about nutrition and what could be done to control people's minds. Sorry, Anomaly Bear. I mean, you're like a normal person to me, and I'm just an asshole who looks at normal people as fucking retarded. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put it, but that's how I've been looking at humanity for so long. I just can't believe the arguments people make. The shit they believe in that's so nonsensical, that's so transparent, that's so foolish, so silly. I mean, it's just... Again, you guys, I know I hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I say things that are kind of like blanket statements, but in a way it's because they're just constantly proven true. I say, I don't know any intelligent religious people. I don't think you can be intelligent and be religious. I don't think those two things are possible. Intelligence is seeing through shit like religion, shit like COVID and 9/11 and all the bullshit that is fed to us every day that we're expected to believe. It's just so sad that humanity's so dumb. And sometimes I wonder, well, I guess this can't explain it all, but it might be part of it. Again, I did grow up in Portland, Oregon, one of the only cities in the U.S. that doesn't have fluoride in its drinking water. I think that's changed, though. I think that's changed in recent years. You go to Portland now, man, seems like the land of the brain-dead zombies, even worse than most places. But that's also because all the people in Portland have moved there thanks to the TV show Portlandia. They're not even from Portland. But anyway, let's get out to Rambo and see what he's got for us tonight. It's always brilliant. How you doing, friend?
Thanks again.
Always welcome. Looking forward to it.
All right. The title of my post today is Equinox rituals and sun archetypes in Surf City, Huntington Beach, California. This is part one because I have so much on this that I have to break it up into multiple parts. But this is part one. I could have actually started last week, but it just continued to mushroom, and then more things happened in Huntington Beach. So on Sunday, this past Sunday, October 3rd, 2001, an ecological disaster unfolded off the shore of Huntington Beach, California, where a massive oil spill occurred from the Pacific Ocean. Now, this event happened 1 week before another event that seems of lesser magnitude, but on a vibrational or ritualistic, because that's what rituals are, they create a vibration. On that level, the other event actually was pretty powerful, even though it may not seem that, at the same location, Huntington Beach, California. I've alluded to the fact that, I've said it several times, that some of the highest times of ritual in the year are at the solstices and the equinoxes, when the sun is at its brightest, hottest, when at its lowest, and then at the even points. These are times of high ritual, and these are usually sun-based rituals, and they will often invoke ancient archetypal sun gods. On Saturday, September 25th, 2001, a 43-year-old man, and I know we've seen that sun god 43, like April 3rd. Jesus said he died April 3rd. The sun.
Well, again, that was modern science about 10 years ago, said that they'd traced Jesus' crucifixion to April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ronnie Garcia, on the Saturday, September 25th, he was 43 years old when he was in a very weird, bizarre incident. He was shot by police in broad daylight at a very crowded Huntington Beach, very popular spot. He didn't exactly wave a gun at the police. He waved a piece of cloth. He had like a white piece of cloth that he pointed at the police, who they said it was a gun. And so they shot him. He fell. And he wasn't hurt. He actually still could have been saved. He was still alive. And then while he's on the ground, he reached for the white bundle of cloth a second time, which, again, this is all bizarre. If you've been shot and the police are showing they're willing to kill you, you're still alive, you can survive. Why would you then go and grab and why is it a bundle anyway? So that's all. They said he had a gun in the bundle. It's a very bizarre incident. But that's what happened in front of witnesses. Because at that same time, the most prestigious event in surfing, in world surfing, was going on. It's the U.S. Open of surfing. That's actually the number one tournament in surfing. And Huntington Beach, the reason that's the number one tournament because Huntington Beach is the location of the Surfing Hall of Fame. So in this major, like the blue ribbon event of world surfing, this strange event happens where this man gets shot. So what got my attention is the fact of when this happened. When strange things happen that don't make sense, you wonder, is this a ritual? More often than not, that's what it is. Because we're at the time of the autumnal equinox. It was September 25th. So this is around the time of the autumn equinox, a really major time for rituals. The first picture that circulated in the media, and it's interesting that this one picture circulated because there were multiple people with cameras and, phones and cameras. It was a crowded beach, but just one picture made it to all the media. And I can see why, because it almost looked like a Freemason tracing board full of specific imagery and symbolism. This one picture. So I'm pretty sure this photographer is well averse, maybe even as part of, I don't know, maybe they rehearsed it, but the picture's too perfect when you analyze it. And what's most noteworthy about the picture is the word equinox hovering over the scene. In the background, there's the gym. It's a national franchise gym called equinox. And that alone told me this is a ritual. It happened on September 25th at the equinox, and there's equinox in the background for all the world to see. So this told me this was a ritual, an equinox ritual to be precise. The name of the person shot by multiple police officers is Ronnie Garcia. His initials, are no coincidence. His initials are RG. R is the 18th letter of the alphabet. G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. So his initials RG are 187. And as we know, the California police code for homicide is 187. So how syncretic that his initials are RG.
And I just got to chime in. Fraternal Order of Police also equals 187. So.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I'm just writing. I'm writing that down real quick because that's very important. So yeah, thank you. That's a good addition. Excellent.
And I'll remind people right now, if you're listening on TFRlive.com, we do stream on YouTube, so you can get the visual for what Rambo's talking about. You can see this scene on the beach, just like he's saying, the word equinox clearly in the background, the story at the time of the autumnal equinox. And again, this is what they do to us every day. Rituals that are reported as real tragedies. That's what they did today in Texas with the mass shooting. Or the shooting at the... I don't know if they said it was a mass shooting, but shooting at the school in Texas. These are rituals day after day that are reported as real tragedies for the sake of agendas. Okay, sorry, Rambo. Go ahead.
No problem at all. So his initials are RG, 18th letter, 7th letter, 187. And as we know, it's the California police code for homicide. And the world found out about 187 with it's actually Dr. Dre's his first solo album after he left NWA, and this was also Snoop Dogg's very first recording. I show a cover of the album. Look at Snoop Dogg. I can't remember him looking so young, but Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg did this song called Deep Cover. There's actually the soundtrack for a movie called Deep Cover. That's where everybody became familiar with 187, and that's because the chorus, which is said by Dre says, yeah, and you don't stop. And then Snoop chimes in, because it's 187 on the undercover cop. So that's when 187 became really popular with the song Deep Cover. And you do a Gematria on Deep Cover, it has a super match in 3 of the 4 bit ciphers with the word homicide. 3 out of 4 ciphers, perfect match. So how interesting that the song is about 187, which is a code for homicide. This is the synchronicity, and Gematria reveals it. So Ronnie Garcia, he was shot near the Surfing Walk of Fame. They have a Walk of Fame there for surfing, and he shot right by it. Surfing Walk of Fame sums to 187. Yeah, it all synchronizes so perfectly. So the last sun-based sacrifice ritual, which I reported on, was around the summer solstice, when a residential building in Miami suburb partially collapsed spontaneously, this we're supposed to believe, and this was on June 24th of this year. It was the Champlain Towers, one of the buildings partially collapsed. There's a set of twin buildings, so you'll see twin towers, twin pillar symbolism. You'll see that Ronnie Garcia is shot. In the picture, they only show 2 pillars. Actually, multiple pillars, but the photographer is positioned, so you only see 2 pillars in the frame. So it's actually 2 pillars. And again, this happened as the U.S. Open of Surfing. This happened. Well, the Champlain Towers, that was the summer solstice. I said, watch out for the solstice and equinoxes. So the summer solstice event was in a suburb called Surfside, Florida. So Surfside, Florida. You saw the summer solstice ritual. Now in Surf City, you see the autumnal equinox ritual, while the U.S. Open of Surfing is actually being ongoing. A lot of energy extraction there for that ritual. So the Equinox building overseeing the scene is a gym. It's actually a the name of a gym franchise. And so these pictures actually come out big. I don't want people to think I'm putting these huge pictures on. I put them down to size, but when I press publish, they expand. So I didn't want it this big.
I have the same problem sometimes. It was a glitch. It's a glitch that started probably a few months back, and haven't been able to figure out the solution. But it's okay. I have the same problem.
Yeah. I'm just letting people know I'm not intentionally putting these huge graphics. But so the franchise Equinox, they very consciously chose that name, and Equinox could be the spring equinox or the autumn equinox. There are two equinoxes, but we know why they chose which equinox they're referring to. They were founded exactly on September 23rd, 1991. And that's precisely when the autumnal equinox occurred in 1991 in Manhattan, in New York City. And September 23rd is a big day for rituals. This is when Freemasons have the martyrdom of Hiram Abiff ritual, which I'll go into, and that's what was part of this. Also remember, famously, you've alluded to this, Donald Trump, he tweeted opposition to the NFL players kneeling at the national anthem. He tweeted on September 23rd. This tells you that Donald Trump is part of the ritual, a Freemason himself, because this was, I think it was the third week of the NFL, and he could have tweeted his protest the second week or the first week. They were kneeling throughout the preseason, and he never said anything until I think it was week 3. When it was September 23rd, then he tweeted about the kneeling because of the specific date. And the kneeling is part of the Freemason ritual. You kneel during the martyrdom of Hiram Abiff. So September 23rd, when Equinox was founded. I think it's obvious, who founded the Equinox Fitness. It's Freemasons. So here again, we see some parallels with the George Floyd killing. There are also some parallels with September 11th. Twin pillars would be the main thing here. So Freemasonry honors, as I mentioned, the autumnal equinox of September 23rd with the martyrdom of Hiram Abiff ritual. Hiram Abiff is an allegorical Freemasonic character who was the architect, the grand architect of Solomon's Temple. And it's an allegory, which is a very positive allegory. So, I mean, this was a very constructive allegory that, it's very deep, and it is very positive, but the truth is Freemasonry has been infiltrated by dark forces, and they did it openly. There was a Congress of Wilhelms about it. I talked last week about Frankfurt, Germany, at the castle of Meyer Amschel Rothschild, where the Illuminati literally just had their coming out party and admitted that they'd taken over Freemasonry. So, yes, while these are positive rituals, a dark force is now using them for dark means. That's just, I don't Freemasons have a problem with it. There is a dark force that's doing it in their name. So Hiram Abiff is an allegorical architect of Solomon's Temple. And Hiram Abiff is partially based on ancient Kemet, which is ancient Egypt, Osiris-Horus myth, where Osiris dies at the equinox. He's killed by Set, his brother Set. That's where you get the word sun Set, from the Egyptian god Set that kills Osiris. He goes into the underworld, and then at the spring equinox, the vernal equinox, he's revived as Horus. He's born again, resurrected, which is the same story you see in similarities with Christianity. The son that dies and is resurrected. And that's what Hiram Abiff is. So, like I said, Osiris is killed by Set, which is where you get the term in English, sun set. The sun sets in the west at the end of the day, but the sun sets on the year at the autumnal equinox. And in Freemason legend, Hiram Abiff is killed at the west gate of Solomon's Temple because the west gate is emblematic of the west where the sun sets, and Hiram Abiff is the sun. So this is why Ronnie Garcia, who was killed at Huntington Beach U.S. Open, this is why he died on the west coast. This is a sun reference. It's a Hiram Abiff reference. And he was literally on the west coast because he was killed on the beach. So when you say west coast, it wasn't like he was in a city on the west. No, he was on the coast, literally on the coast. That's symbol of the setting sun in the west. And Hiram Abiff. Now, in the legend, Hiram Abiff is attacked by 3 fellow craft Freemasons. In Freemasonry, fellow craft is the name for the second degree of the Freemasonry. So 3 second-degree Freemasons or fellow craft tried to force Hiram Abiff, who's a master Mason, a third-degree Mason, to divulge the secret name of the secret word of the master Mason, which is also the secret name of God. And he refuses. He's attacked by the first, and then the second, and then he's killed by the third. And these fellow craft second-degree Masons collectively are called the Three Ruffians. And that's why it's martyrdom, because he died protecting the secret word of the Master Mason, which is the Master Masons of third-degree Freemasons, which is where you get the term third-degree murder. That is a reference to Hiram Abiff legend, the third degree being murdered by the second-degree Freemasons. That's why you get third-degree murder. Derek Chauvin, who killed George Floyd, the Masonic imagery was there. He was charged with, I think, second-degree like murder or manslaughter and third-degree murder. And that's a reference to the legend of Hiram Abiff, third-degree Freemason killed by a second-degree Freemason. So second-degree, third-degree is all over the Derek Chauvin, all over the George Floyd. So yeah, third-degree murder. That's where that comes from. Then I show pictures of the 3 police officers. This imagery is very important. The visuals are important here. 3 police officers next to the 2 pillars. And those pillars, they have the names of members of the Surfing Hall of Fame on them. And I'll go into in a later decode, because they have close-ups of the names of the specific surfers in the Surfing Hall of Fame whose names are on the pillars. And this ritual was carried out intentionally in front of those people's pillars. So this is a big part of this ritual too, is the specific surfers whose names are on the pillars. But that's for another part. So the visuals here, the 2 pillars and the 3 police officers, those are the 3 ruffians at Solomon's Temple who kills Hiram Abiff. That's Ronnie Garcia's Hiram Abiff. And the George Floyd event, it did not happen on the equinox, but it still was an equinox ritual because it happened on May 25th. May 25th is in Gemini, in the tropical zodiac, and that was done because Gemini, the symbol is twins. That brings in the twin pillars symbolism. And it was in the twin cities. That's for the twin pillars symbolism. But the sunset autumnal equinox element of the ritual comes from George Floyd's birthday. George Floyd was born October 14th, which is in Libra. And Libra is the zodiac sign of the autumnal equinox. So that's why George Floyd was chosen. And that's why Twins, Minneapolis was chosen. That's why that date was chosen. It's all part of the ritual. Twin pillars, Solomon's Temple, the sun setting. So George Floyd, he clearly represented the setting sun. As the duration of his killing was initially reported for the longest time as 8 minutes and 46 seconds, 8:46. It became a major ritual, 8:46. It was drummed into our heads. As we know, the World Trade Center attacks on September 11th started specifically at 8:46. Again, Twin Towers, same symbolism. And we can see that, I actually show a link to the website where you can look this up, and I took a screenshot of, it shows you that on May 25th in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the sun set at 8:46 p.m. So clearly that is a sunset, the setting of the sun ritual. That's why they put out the 8:46, even though it didn't take 8:46 minutes. Now, in the Latin cipher, which is called the Jewish cipher on the Gematrinator, sunset comes to 525, 525, like the date May 25th, which is the date that George Floyd died on. So I think that there's more than enough evidence that that was a sunset, the dying of the sun. He's a Libra, equinox. There's more than enough evidence of this. Further evidence also is the casket at the George Floyd's funeral. Is a pretty, very spectacular golden casket. And in the ancient Egyptian or ancient Cometian legend, Osiris was famously put in a casket or sarcophagus. So this is also the sarcophagus of Osiris, but the golden color is a reference to the sun. The Minneapolis mayor at the time, and who's still the mayor, is Jacob Fry. And his birthday is very significant to Freemasonry. It's July 23rd. July 23rd is when Freemasonry observes the heliacal rising of the star Sirius. Sirius was sacred to ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. When Sirius reappeared, the Nile would flood, and that was the beginning of the new year in ancient Kemet, which is ancient Egypt. So July 23rd is very prestigious. One of the highest revered Freemasons of all time is Haile Selassie, the former Ethiopian emperor, because he's believed to be a direct descendant of King Solomon. And his birthday is July 23rd, which is more indication to Freemasons that he's a special chosen one. So yeah, July 23rd is very significant to Freemasons. And that's the birthday of the Minneapolis mayor. And so Sirius is often depicted between two pillars. If you see Freemason iconography, there's twin pillars and then this blazing star. It's the same blazing star you see on top of the pyramid on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States. That's the star Sirius in between. So it's clear what this means. Jacob Fry, he is Sirius, blazing between the two pillars, which is the twin cities of Minneapolis. That's the ritual. Sirius shining between the two pillars. So July 23rd, he's considered a chosen one because of his birthday, a special birthday. The Mississippi River that runs through Minneapolis is representative of the River Nile. It's considered the River Nile. And more evidence that Jacob Fry lines up with Sirius is if you look at Gematria of Sirius, is 95.
Quick commercial, Rambo. We'll be right back, everybody.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/sign-up and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection.
Allegations of fraud surrounding the election of Umaru Yar'Adua in Nigeria. How do you think global petroleum markets are going to react, particularly considering their understandable wariness given the crumbling infrastructure and continuing civil strife in the Niger Delta?
Certainly, that's an important question.
Certainly.
One with no easy answers.
No.
A lot of issues are at play here.
Right.
I agree. This gentleman that you mentioned certainly needs our trust and support now more than ever.
You mean Umaru Yar'Adua?
Yes, him.
Oh, well,
exactly,
I think
yes.
that the reason that this situation is so volatile is because of the factors involved.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
I just want to bring some issues to light that we're overlooking here. I mean, we all know clearly that Nigeria has a 14 million population. Main export is uranium. National language is French, and 18% of its livestock is exported. So they have a varied and fascinating culture and economic situation going on, and I don't think that's being addressed here at all.
Oh, no.
And also, we want to differentiate between Nigeria and Niger. Okay, those are not only separate countries, but they're spelled
Which one are we talking
differently.
about?
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
But the real question is, does Yar'Adua have the necessary political skills to implement plans that have already been put into place by Bob and Dita? Particularly, I would say, the International Monetary Fund's Structural Adjustment Program.
Yes.
I would say yes.
I agree, definitely. The comparisons are there.
But do you see Yar'Adua following in the steps of outgoing President Olusegun Obasanjo? Or more like former President Ibrahim Babangida?
First one.
The second one first.
If I'm following you, you're saying that you think he's more in line with Babangida, right?
Okay.
I disagree with that.
They're very different.
You must unite what is in citizen.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got 2 hours left. Rambo is in the middle of his presentation, and after he's finished, we'll get back out to your calls. But Rambo, if you want to continue right where you left off, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I was talking about July 23rd, honoring the heliacal rising of the star Sirius, which is sacred to ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, and modern Freemasonry. I gave the example of the birthday of Haile Selassie, who's considered direct descendant of King Solomon. Also, Michael Jordan, who was aligned with Sirius, and the Chicago Bulls used to enter the arena, which became really famous under the Michael Jordan dynasty. The song that their entrance music was Sirius, and it's not a coincidence that Michael Jordan's father died on the 23rd of July. His father died on the day of the heliacal rising of Sirius. It all lines up. So that's 237. So yeah, so the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, his full name Jacob Lawrence Fry, sums to 95, just like Sirius at 95. That's a big Sirius number in Gematria at 95. And also Minneapolis, Minnesota, you know, the name of the town he manages, sums to 237. You know, what are the odds of that lining up like that? 237,
Rambo.
like his birthday.
Rambo.
Minneapolis.
Have you ever looked into the 95 Theses in light of Sirius? Because I'm just going to mute Rambo for a second because that stack's coming through, but while I'm asking the question, have you ever thought about it? Because remember, last year on the heliacal rising of Sirius, that was the day that MLB began, and Anthony Fauci threw out the first pitch at the Yankees-Nationals game in D.C., and in that game, Garrett Cole picked up his 95th career win after getting signed by the Yankees on his 95th day of his age, and Fauci's 95. And again, the Jesuits created to counter the 95 Theses, huge Jesuit ritual, and recognized by Rome on the day, leaving 95 days left in the year. Have you ever gone back and looked at the publishing of the 95 Theses and if this might connect to Sirius?
Sorry, it's static. I've never made that connection. That's a good connection. I mean, I knew about the 95 Theses, but I never connected it to Sirius. But this...
It might not be connected.
The PC ritual...
It might not be. Some people think that the whole Protestant Reformation was like the Catholic Church running its own thing just to controlled opposition. I mean, it's possible. Martin Luther died in 46, Catholic 46. Who knows? That was 6 years after the Jesuits were recognized by Rome. But just 95 being so central to all of that and so central to the Jesuits and just again, bringing together the ritual they did last year to open the baseball season, maybe there is something there.
But also, the United States Independence Day was also aligned with the position of Sirius. They took the position of Sirius into account. It was in alignment. It was on the other side of the sun. Sirius has the moniker the sun behind the sun because that was Sirius's location relative to Earth at the time of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And also the designs, if you look at the symbol for Sirius, for the star Sirius, it's from ancient Egypt. There's like a pentagram, and then there's like a triangle, and there's a semicircle. And that's the Washington Monument, the Capitol Dome, and the Pentagon. That's all designed from the ancient Egyptian, their symbol for Sirius. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that all that happened in D.C., and D.C. is so aligned with Sirius, then, yeah, that's actually, I think it does have something to do with it. I never thought of linking Martin Luther to that, but, yeah, I can look into that and see if there's a link. I think it definitely is.
All right, I look forward to it.
Yeah, Washington, D.C. especially. Yep. Yeah, so Minneapolis, Minnesota sums to 237, like 23 July. The term heliacal rising of Sirius sums to 1026 in English extended. Now, 1026 is like the date, October 26th. Now, if you spell out October 26, it sums to 237, like 23rd July. So why is October 26th significant? That's because that is the birthday of the Huntington Beach, California mayor, Kim Carr, who was born Kim Buck. Her birthday is 26 October, which is also Hillary Clinton's birthday. But it is also the birthday, October 26th, of the women's champion at the U.S. Open of Surfing, on the weekend of the shooting. So the mayor has his October 26th birthday. The women's winner, who's Kaitlyn Simmers, her birthday is also October 26th. When you spell out October 26th is written 1026, like heliacal rising of Sirius. And when you spell out October 26th, it sums up to 237, the date of the heliacal rising of Sirius is celebrated. So that is amazing synchronicity. And two people have that same birthday involved in this event in Huntington Beach. It's amazing synchronicity. And Sirius is also known as the Star of Isis. Star of Isis sums to 525, like May 25th, the day that George Floyd was died. And again, there's more parts to this ritual, to this story. This is just part one. But most significant birthday of all, if these don't seem significant enough, is the birthday of Ronnie Garcia himself, the main character here, who was shot. His birthday is September 11th, shot in front of the Twin Pillars. And you won't see these birthdays in the news. So there's a member of the audience who I'd like to thank who came up with all these birthdays. You can't find them in the news. And yeah, they're all backed up. And in decoding, whether it's sports or anything, dates, birthdays are everything. Everything starts with birthdays. I would say number one tip to decoding is birthdays. Birthdays are everything. So yeah, so I just left with one last visual of the picture and just kind of labeled what everything in the picture represents. The Twin Pillars, the Equinox in the background, the three police officers in front of the two pillars, so the three ruffians, and then Ronnie Garcia, who's Hiram Abiff, whose birthday is September 11th. So yeah, there's a lot more to this. One other person who will be involved in this decode is the MMA. He's an MMA Hall of Famer, Tito Ortiz. He's from Huntington Beach, and just earlier this year, he was mayor pro tempore. He was temporarily mayor of Huntington Beach up until June 2nd this year. And he's a big part of the decode as well. He's a big part of the ritual, Tito Ortiz, the MMA fighter. So yeah, so that's it for tonight.
The only thing I see that you didn't mention about that picture is the two numbers that you can see up on the signs pointing at the scene. The 1 and the 3, kind of like 13. Just reminds me of the sun and the 12 constellations. So. You still there, Rambo?
Oh, yeah. I heard some static, yeah.
Okay. Did you hear what I was saying about the 1 and the 3?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah, that's significant as well, yeah. But there's also that traffic light. There's an orange traffic light above the twin pillars. I think that also represents Sirius, because Sirius is represented as a blazing star above the twin pillars. So that light, there's a traffic light above I think that's Sirius as well. It's pretty much an allegorical, yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah, it's amazing. Their symbolism in their ritual, it's just so redundant. I mean, if you guys listen to Rambo, he's often bringing it back to the Three Ruffians and Solomon's Temple. And again, if you've read my first book, it starts right there too, because that's where so many of Masonry's secrets and rituals and rites come from. So, great job again, Rambo. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Did you want to say anything about belief?
About beliefs?
Yeah. Do you think they're dangerous?
Well, beliefs are very powerful. What is that?
Do you think they're dangerous?
They're dangerous if they're misdirected. This is the thing, belief, when somebody believes so fully, so absolutely in something, it's actually demonstrated. If you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, the places like that, they actually tell you that you have better chances of recovery if you have a religious belief. And it's just documented that people who believe that there is a powerful force that is looking out for them, that will see them through.
Yeah.
Those people recover better. In fact, even in life-threatening situations, it's people who believe in in a higher power, those who really believe it intensely with every fiber of their being, that deep belief, they have a higher survival rate in life-threatening situations. But the thing is, where is that real source coming from that sees them through these situations? It's coming from themselves. If they directed that belief in themselves, they'd find out who is really pulling them through. It's themselves. If that belief was directed in yourself, you'd be much more empowered. And so I think one of the keys to controlling humanity over the years is telling people that power is outside. Look outside for power. Look outside for salvation. When actually that power is coming from inside. You have to look inward. It's a famous saying, famous esoteric saying. It goes back to ancient Egypt. We're talking about ancient Kemet. Is know the self. And the Oracle of Delphi in ancient Greece, which they got from ancient Egypt, it's know the self, and you will know the universe and the gods. The power is actually inside. That's actually where the power comes from. But they're attributing it to something outside. If that belief was directed inside, that's really who's pulling them through.
All is mental. First rule of Hermeticism. Yeah, I agree, Rambo. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
You have a good night. Take care.
All right, take care.
Yeah, again, the first rule of Hermeticism, all is mental. What you put your mind to, that becomes very much your reality. And again, I mean, you heard that in the first caller tonight who was saying the proof of Jesus was the way the flame was captured in his picture in his aunt's fireplace. And then to him that proved all these scriptures. And again, his mind really believes in that, so that's what his mind is also manifesting there, the flicker of the flame. You can see a lot in fires. I mean, who doesn't have the experience as a child of sitting around a fire with friends, family, and, playing with the fire and seeing things in the fire? I mean, it's like looking at the clouds, So, anyway, we're going to take calls the rest of the way. We're going to talk about belief. Is belief the reason we are where we are today, which is in a really bad spot? That people, are not thinking and they're just believing in what authority tells them because that's what they've been instructed to do from the time they were a child? I don't think Ignatius of Loyola is the first to say it, but he is quoted among the Jesuits saying, "Give me a child until they're 7 and I'll show you the man," meaning that, you know, if I have that child through his formative years as he's grown up to 7, if I have them and can instruct them, I know exactly how they're going to turn out as an adult. But, yeah, let's go out to New Jersey. First caller up, 973. Again, question of the night. Beliefs. What's your take on them? Are they good? Are they bad? What do we need to do about this culture of believers? But try to keep your call to 2 minutes, and 973, you're leading us off. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Jack?
Hey, how you doing?
You remember me?
Not yet, but maybe if you keep talking.
Golf expert.
The golf expert?
Remember me?
Well, when I think of golf expert, I'm drinking from his mug tonight. He sent me a mug. Shout out to Bali Go Backwards. He's really good with the golf. I know him off the top of my head, but here, tell me more. Are you the man who met up with Rambo years ago? Are you the man who met up with Rambo years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you are. Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's me. All right, so I had something else to say, but I'll go to believe first. Let's call it be-lie, right? Lie. You put lie in the middle, right?
Right.
We know governments lie, corporations lie, preachers lie, people lie, the Bible has lies, but lie equals 26, and so does God equal 26. I don't think that's random.
I've been talking about that since the beginning. I've been like, wow, people are being controlled by lies. It's like so many people are obeying the lie like it's God. Yeah, I made the same point a million times. 26-letter alphabet, the language, it's just all right there. But go ahead.
What never lies, numbers never lie, which equals 74, and 223, the reflection of 322.
Hold on.
So numbers never lie.
Hold on. Do you agree with that, though, that numbers never lie? I say never. I mean, you see numbers manipulated all the time to persuade.
I would say the numbers, I've learned, I make that statement to some truth that if you're a corporation, if you have your real numbers and you put it in front of somebody, they don't lie unless you trick them. Unless you trick the numbers, right?
Right.
If you fudge the numbers for corporation, but if you put your real numbers in there, they don't lie.
Okay.
This is my sales, this is my cost, this is right? So that kind of thought process. Now, we know we have a central figure of Kobe Bryant when he died. You know, he died 157 days on the death of his age, right? But 157 days before he died was March 20th. 22 weeks and 3 days, or 223, the reflection of 322. Or 5 months and 4 days, like 54. And if we know anybody listening, Kobe Bean Bryant equals 54. So what's 157 plus 157? That equals 314. That's pi. That's circle. So this is an important thing here. They say all roads lead to Rome, but the 157th day of the year, by the way, is 6-6. Lakers equals 66. I say all roads lead to Kobe, and all roads lead to Kobe equals 314. Now I'm going to reference a movie that I think is central to this whole thing. Movie. The song is I Just Can't Wait to Be King, which equals 314. Now that movie is from the songs from The Lion King, The Circle of Life, right? Now, I started doing this in the Bible with numbers. Take a verse for all those people who are Bible believers, including that guy that called earlier who proved nothing. Just take the numbers of the verses, not the name of it. So let's just take John 3:16. Just the numbers spelled out 316, right? What you get is 142, 61, 155, and 56. Coronavirus matches in 3 of those numbers, 142, 155, and 56. But also mind control equals 61 and 56.
Remember the time limit. Remember the time limit. There's a lot of people on hold. What's the main point you want to make here?
Well, I'm just the numbers. The numbers never lie. I think they don't lie. You can argue with that. And for argument's sake, the World Series starts on 10/26, like 1/26. Kobe died on 1/26. And Game 7 starts on 1/11/3, like 1/13. Kobe Bryant equals 1/13. Many of us have heard 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. 6 degrees or initials are important. 6 degrees of KB, like Kobe Bryant, is 229, 50. Circle equals 50. I believe that Kobe is the central figure to this entire thing. I'll call back another time with some more details, but numbers never lie. I don't think they lie. I think if you're put down honestly, they don't lie. And that's why Gematria is important.
All right. Appreciate the message. Have a good night, friend. Thank you. All right, let's go out to North Carolina again. Try to keep it 2 minutes. North Carolina, what's going on?
Hey, I wanted to give you a couple quick decodes and then give you my answer about belief.
Let's do the answer first, because I don't know. Here, what's the answer to the question? That's the topic tonight. I don't know what your decodes are about.
Okay, well, the answer to the question is, I think that the belief. I agree with Rambo. I think Rambo hit it on the head, but you cannot not admit that Jesus is very significant in the whole story that we're all involved in. And personally, I've been in spiritual warfare, attacked by demon-possessed humans, and there is power in spiritual warfare against that type of entity attacking you spiritually in the name of Jesus. If you say, if you're quoting scripture and saying in the name of Jesus, they hate that and they'll run from you. So I can say personally that it's a real thing.
So why do you have demons attacking you? I hear a lot of Christians call in and say this. When they have demons attacking them, they evoke the name Jesus. Like, how do you? What's your take on the fact I've never had any demons attack me? Why don't I have demons attacking me?
Maybe you haven't entered into that spiritual realm where they are. And back to what Rambo said is the people that are really spiritual have had those life or death situations. Have you ever been in a life or death situation where you had to call on God and use a spiritual warfare tactic to keep your soul in your vessel?
No, I haven't had a situation like that.
So, everybody has a different life experience and situation.
So is that how demons were attacking you? So, because you're answering my question. So you nearly died and demons were attacking you, and then Jesus saved you from the demons and from dying?
Well, that belief and using the name of Jesus, yeah, I can say honestly it did.
I got to know more about this, because normally I just let this stuff go by, but so what did it look like when
called gang stalking?
Hold on. What did it look like when demons were attacking you?
Well, for example, what I was going to tell you is, have you ever seen the series called Fringe, about the FBI Fringe unit?
I don't know why we have to go to a TV show. Demons were attacking you, not a TV show, right? Unless... No, I haven't seen the show either.
I'm trying to give you an example of the truth that they're putting right in our face. The truth is in that movie where they're shape-shifting. These are shape-shifting demons where, they can possess humans. They come into the human soul. And in the series Fringe, they show that there's two alternate universes. We're in one universe. The other universe, 9/11 didn't happen, and that's where the technology took it on a different timeline. And they are attacking using mind control and controlling everyone through the AI. They call it the I had it written down. It's basically the AI. I mean, this goes back to, have you ever heard of Anunnaki? It was before Atlantis.
Yeah, I've heard of the Anunnaki theory.
My theory is that obviously Atlantis was a very high technological society, and Anunnaki preceded that, before that, and I believe that these gods never lost control, and they're still in control. And there's basically three classes in a Type 2 civilization. There's the Christ consciousness. There's the Luciferian, which is all about self. They don't care about anybody else. Christ consciousness is you love everybody, you want to help everybody. That's the story of Jesus. And then there's the AI, and the AI doesn't give a shit about anybody, and they look at us like ants, and they can kill 100 million people, and they don't give a shit. So that's what's going on. I own Anunnaki.com, and I share your work. You have blown my mind over the last couple of years, and you do come under spiritual attack. So I believe that everybody has their own belief based on their own personal experiences, but I don't think it is helpful to the community to bash people that believe in Jesus, because I can say it saved my life more than any time I can count. So.
Okay, well, I appreciate the thoughts. I didn't really hear anything that was persuasive to me, and you didn't make it clear what these demons look like when they attack you. So, I mean, I'm left wondering here. If you want to clarify the demon attack and give me what that was like and how you know Jesus saved you.
There's angels and demons. There's a rap song called "Angels and Demons" by Beast 1333.
My man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Have a good night. I appreciate it. Again, he had to go to a TV show and a movie. I mean, he told me that demons attacked him and Jesus saved him. Why can he not just share with me his own story? Yeah, the first guy with the fireplace, too, he left comments this week that he was really worried about my soul, and that's why he was going to call in and prove Jesus to me, and then his example was the fireplace. I thought he was really going to prove it. Here, let's go out to Atlanta. Atlanta, are beliefs helping us, or are they making people stupider by the day? What's going on, Atlanta?
Hey, man, I called in last week, but I was driving and I had on a headset, so it wasn't clear at all. But I'm ready to get into it, man. I'll say Rambo is a hard act to follow. And just to stay on the topic with you, first thing, I don't think it's a problem with people believing in Santa Claus and the fairy tales and things of that nature. The reason why is because they're esoteric stories. They're not stories just about Santa Claus. So, that's to the feeble mind, to the child mind. In the esoteric realm, everything is given to us in a parable. Just as Jesus was always taught, his disciples never understood him. And they always asked, what did you mean by this? What did you mean by that? And in one case, Jesus asked the disciples, Jesus asked the disciples, hey, do you know who I am? And they said, no, but Peter said, yeah, you're the Christ. And Jesus said, okay, you wouldn't know that unless it was first revealed to you by my Father. So I am a Baptist, a Southern Baptist, been baptized so many times, man. But the thing I want to really get into is the esoteric. Now, there's the ESO. The
reviews for
hold on. The commercial snuck up on us. Sit tight. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hold up. I am. Before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Dowsing is the ancient science of finding water and metal underground. Albert Einstein said that dowsing was tapping into earth energies which modern science as yet does not understand. Diamonds, silver, gold, and platinum objects have all been found using dowsing. And now, for the first time on film, we visit the pyramids, Stonehenge, and ancient sites, dowsing for buried treasure and tapping into this mysterious earth energy.
The Enigma Channel. Intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
Penny.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We're taking calls for the rest of the show. We got an hour and a half left. Again, if you guys can keep it to a minute to 2 minutes, it seems like almost everyone struggles with that direction, especially the believer types who seem to always want to talk the most. But if you can keep it to 1 to 2 minutes, we'll get through a lot of calls. There are a lot of people on hold. There's about 50 people on hold. 678, you've been on for about a minute and a half, so if you can get to your point in 1 more minute, that would be great. You got the floor.
Yeah, so it's all about parables. It's all about analogies, man. For the believers, seek higher wisdom. He said, ask for wisdom and you'll receive it. Even in the garden, you got to remember, everlasting life is cut off from us. So it's only the tree of knowledge that we can eat from. We have the puzzle piece in our hand, but we continue to look at it as a literal action, a literal thing that literally happens. So there's deep esoteric meanings, and I wish I had more time to start breaking down these biblical stories to give the esoteric meaning, but that's where the magic is. It's a wonderful, magical universe where we have to continue to seek knowledge. Don't get this book and think that's it. This book is a story of analogies and miracles. So, but what the last thing, the book also says that he who believeth will do works as Jesus and greater works. So for you guys here that are great believers, you should be doing greater works than Jesus, bringing people from death and speaking life into people. You should be doing all kinds of things. So keep that in mind, and keep one more person in mind. Paul was killing Christians, killing believers, and God still chose him. God don't want no weak people, man. You got to be proactive in what you believe in and doing it, and that spirit to take over you and use it for what you want it to be. Everyone here on this call and on this show listening, you're here for a reason. This is truth right here. He's revealing truth, so don't say Jesus is the only truth, because here's a guy revealing some truth to you right now. But remember, esoteric. Look for esoteric meanings of the Bible stories, and it'll change your life. I'm gonna call back, man, because I need about a 30-minute segment like Rambo, man. Like, woo! But all right, thank you, Zach. Have a good one, man.
Appreciate it. You have a good night. Thank you. Okay, let's go out to 562. You know, before we go to 562, Neo's in the chat communicating the same thought that I have. Until we break through this mindset of believing, there's not going to be any progress because nobody's thinking. You know, I can't get people to even look at my work because they don't believe in work from the internet. You know, they only believe in their trusted sources. And that's a huge problem. I'm not just saying that Christians are getting all personal. He's just going after Jesus. I'm talking about all belief systems, you guys. Belief in authority is essentially what I'm going after. Christianity. And isn't it so interesting how Christian, authority, government, they all have that same gematria, 47, right? Go figure. Go figure. The language, the calendar, all synced up, all from the Catholic Church, how all this stuff's related. We'll have to hear the caller in his own words, but I mean, is he talking about how the Christians worship on Sunday and Jesus, the Son of God, walks on water like the sun's reflection? Is that what he's referring to? We'll hear next time he calls in. Let's go out to 562. You're on.
Hey, Jack. Look, I'm just listening, okay? So I'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Appreciate it, man. You have a good night. Let's go out to 607. 607, you're on.
Yo, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
You know, Christmas is the most popular holiday in the country, in the U.S.
Right.
And I just want to point out a clear contradiction between Christmas with the name Christ right in it. But if you were like me, you were taught as a kid that Santa Claus has a list, and if you're naughty, then you get coal for Christmas, and if you're nice, then you get presents. That's kind of how Christmas is taught to kids.
Indeed.
Wouldn't you agree?
Indeed. I was taught the same thing.
And just to my point, it's that that's a clear and to the what people have been saying about how there's the meaning in the Bible is in parables, and it's not very straightforward. It's hard to decipher what it actually means. Well, in Ephesians 2:9, there's just a clear contradiction between the Bible and what Christ is supposed to stand for and Christmas. And it's that in Ephesians 2:9 it says that it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. And it's saying that no work you do on earth, that's not it says not by works so that no one can boast, is what it says. And that's a clear contradiction to Christmas, because basically Christ means that you're saved through grace. So it's nothing you do or don't do on earth, it's just because you did a million really nice things for people, that's not what's going to get you eternal life into heaven. But it's Christmas, the Christian holiday and the most popular holiday, they tell you that if you're good, then you'll get presents, and if you're bad, you'll get coal. There's a clear contradiction here. I'm just trying to point out. And it shows that, Christians and Christianity in this nation is a joke, but I don't think it's indicative of the real truth. Because do you see the clear contradiction I'm pointing out? Christ died for your sins so that even if you were a terrible person, then if you believed in Christ still, then you'll get to heaven. It's Oprah might do a lot of nice things for people, but that doesn't all not going to matter. It's so that no one can boast in heaven. Look at my list of things I did for people is longer than yours. It's that can't happen. But that's just my point, man.
Okay, well, I appreciate the thought. Yeah, there's a lot of contradictions about Christianity. It's become more about materialism than even celebrating the supposed birthday, which also doesn't make sense, because based on the information in the Bible, his birthday is not at the winter solstice. That's when Mithra's birthday is, the old god of Rome. But
right.
Anyway, yeah, I do hear the point. There's a lot of contradictions in Christianity, absolutely. So appreciate the thought, man. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one, dude.
Yeah, you too. All right, let's go out to 850. What's up, 850?
Hey, Zach. Quickly, South Korea, that's where the Squid Game, South Korea equals 56. But the beliefs don't exist. And it's a real mind game. And the problem is with belief is that it takes you out of the fabrication of the fourth dimension, which is time, and understanding time, your past, your present, and your future. And, there's that famous quote in 1984 about that. But, a belief, you're taking the absence of thinking. I think, therefore I am. You don't have that with the belief system at all. You're just going off, in the Bible. I hear all these people, the Bible verses. One, you don't know who those people are. We were always taught when we were kids, don't believe strangers, or don't listen to them, or don't trust them. Whoever wrote the Bible, the Greeks supposedly with the New Testament, and whoever with the Old Testament, you have to believe what those people wrote. because you don't know them, just like these politicians, just like with these entertainers. You don't know these people, but you believe them? You believe that they're getting COVID? I mean, come on. That's such a violation of HIPAA rights. So what, celebrities don't get HIPAA rights now? So, again, you're just believing, which means that you're not thinking. You can't think and believe at the same time at all. You can't. I'm sorry if anybody believes in Jesus and stuff, but if you believe in Jesus, you don't think. It's impossible. Also, that I am decoding the first episode of Squid Game. I got a lot of interesting stuff. But, yeah, that's about all I have, man. I don't know if you have anything to say.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think the same way. So, keep up the good work. Look forward to the decode.
We need
that
more
show's loaded.
thinkers.
Indeed.
Oh, sorry.
All right, man. You have a good
thank
night.
you.
Thanks. All right. Let's go out to New York. What's going on tonight, New York?
Hey, Ralph. What's up, man?
Another day in paradise. How you doing?
Doing good. Taking it easy as usual.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You ain't gonna change those Christians, man. Their mind is locked. Like you put a padlock on the brains.
It's not just them. It's like everybody. Everybody's chosen something they just want to believe in, just blindly. They'll just believe in it blindly, whether it's the nightly news or their government or their political party. It's just like it seems like that's all that exists in America. Just people that believe in something and think about nothing.
Yeah, often ask Christians, who's Jesus? Tell me who's Jesus. And they go back to the Garden of Eden. I said, Garden of Eden is just a new story. Life been millions of years before that.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know, you never can win with them, you know what I'm saying? They never gonna wake up.
So it seems.
I ask them, what gives you life? What does it make our life? They ask them, the sun. Without the sun, everything is dead. There would be no non-existent.
Indeed, 100%.
And they come up with this 12 disciples. This is 12 consolation. A lot of people don't look into that and see that. That's what it is.
They refuse to think. It's because that very clear thought that is so obvious and so transparent, especially with all the Sunday worship, it's so obvious, but they won't entertain it because it goes against their belief system that's based in a fear that they've had since childhood, where if they don't believe, then there's eternal punishment. And it's not fair that that's what was done to them as a child and that they're too weak as a human being to overcome the damage that was done as children being taught this story in this, what I would say, dishonest way.
Yeah, because even you go back to like how Rasta say, his majesty. But his majesty recently condemned Christianity. He said get power hunger, corrupt. It called all different things to describe how corrupt it is. And it was created for you to practice to get to the Most High, spirituality, the Most High. And that is what? Looking up at the Most High.
Interesting.
That gives you life.
Well,
like simple things like that, you show the people they can't see.
They don't want to see. They choose not to see.
And the worst church, and to me it's not even a church, a Catholic church. They call it a church. It's not a church. It's just a satanic ritual. That's believing pedophile ring and all of that. That's what it is.
Isn't it amazing how they get away with it? How can they release a report yesterday that they raped 330,000 kids in France? I mean, just think about that number. I mean, it seems like mockery with a 33 on it right there and it being Christianity. But even if that's in the ballpark, I mean, just think about how sick that is. 330,000 sexually abused children in one nation, and this is going on all over. And this is just part of our regularly programming us to let us know that the Catholic Church is constantly admitting to the latest massive number of sexually abused children that grew up, under their authority. Yeah, it's just,
Terrible, man. What you all got to do is teach the young ones.
Not
teach
to
the
believe.
young ones, they will understand. They see things for you.
Yeah.
For themselves. Not nobody program them.
It's hard, though, because
And
the
that's
people
what's
procreating
going
are...
on now.
So many parents just do it to their own children. They do the damage to their own children thinking they're doing the right thing. So...
And the greatest program system right now is the internet. For them phone with them kids,
sure.
you got to take them off of that.
Yeah.
And teach them.
Indeed.
So, Zach, I'm listening, man. I
appreciate the thoughts as always, friend. You have a good night.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
You too.
I love the way he says he's taking it easy every week, man. It makes me smile every week. I'm like, as bad as things are, he's still taking it easy. That makes me feel good. Let's go out to Connecticut. What's up, 203?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
How you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, yeah, this is a tough one, but I definitely think there's a difference between belief and faith. And I feel like they're trying to tie like intellectual concepts like stories and parables so that our minds like get wrapped around them. And I also think that we're underestimating how much ego is involved as well. I don't fully understand how the ego works, but I do believe that it's connected to the mind and to the thoughts that we have. And it's very difficult for somebody who's been conditioned their whole lives to all of a sudden realize that everything that they think or believe is false. And everybody just wants to be comfortable and think like everything's going to be okay. And you're basically telling them like, it's not going to be okay. And they don't want to believe that. They would rather be like, no, you're bad. Everything's going to be okay. I'm going to trust the people that raised me, that promised me that everything was going to be okay, no matter what you tell me. But it is obvious, I think, to a certain intellect that it's definitely a mind control, a population control process whereby people are taught to believe everything's going to be okay. Just trust in what we're telling you, do what we tell you to do, and everything's going to be fine. And at the end of the day, it's not. Like, we're starting to see that. But to me, it's ironic that what you're teaching, regardless of whether you believe in Jesus or not, or even if you do, you're teaching them, you're showing them that we are currently like in Satan's kingdom. Like, you're showing all the 666 rituals. Everything is being proven statistically, numerologically. And it's still, people are rejecting it because they just want to feel like everything's going to be okay. And so it's definitely frustrating. But, you know, they start us when we're young. They get us when we're kids. They get us when we're babies. And they indoctrinate us. That's what it's for. That's what, you know, like the Nazis did. They learned that scientifically. They know how to control humans based on our intellects, based on our egos, based on how we fear. We fear survival. We want everything to be okay. So they use that against us to control us, to be able to live out their plans. I think it's fairly obvious, and I think even people that do believe kind of maybe know that, like on some level, but don't want to accept it. But that being said, and I know that you want to keep it short, but I just had a couple of things that I really feel like I need to get out there. And one of them is regarding the weather warfare and whatnot. Do you feel like there's a correlation between like weather and like the power of God? And maybe that's something that's being used against us? Because like, I think when people think of like powerful storms and things of that nature, earthquakes, it's acts of God. In fact, even insurance companies call it like an act of God. And, you know, you could talk about all these like 52 dates with hurricanes and everything, and I see that there's definitely a pattern there. So I went to check out the when the Weather Channel was formed, and sure enough, it was established on May 2nd. So it's like, you know, just another indicator that there's definitely something going on here. And I feel like they're using that. Like, I always used to wonder when the Weather Channel first came out, like, why do we need a weather channel? Like, the weather's the weather. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Right.
I don't understand why we need a whole cable channel devoted to the weather. So it definitely seems a little shady to me. But, and the other thing I don't know if you saw what happened with the Powerball recently. Has anyone talked to you about that, or have you decoded that at all?
Well, my dad annoys me because every time it gets big, he tells me I went out and bought a ticket this week. I say, why do you keep doing that? He's like, I know, but just in case. I'm just like, I'm telling you, Dad, that's the idiot tax. But I heard about it through my dad. He wanted that 600 and some million. So.
Yeah, well, so just on that note, like I saw we're climbing, and I was telling my friends, I'm like, watch, it's going to be 666 is going to be the Powerball. And they're like, no, it can't be. It's 700, so you're wrong. And I was like, oh, man, I swore it would have been 666. But then finally they released the numbers. Now, the date was drawn on October 4th, Monday, 10/4. and the final number was 699.8. So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, maybe they got the 2 9s, because that's the upside down 6s, right? So I'm like, well, let me see what the winning numbers are. So I looked at all the winning numbers and I added them up, and sure enough, they came out to 223. So it's like, come on, you know what I'm saying? And so the last thing, and I apologize if I feel like it's on topic because this all has to do with like the manipulation and the control. Well, I don't know if you probably don't like get into pornography and whatnot based on what I think about what, you and everything. But there is a XXX website out there, and I'm embarrassed to say that I know this, but when you look at it on a mobile phone, it shows you like X number of videos, and if you want to go to the next set of videos, so it shows you video 1 through 10, but then it has a little button over next to it that has the number 112. So you either can watch videos 1 through 10 or 112. Now, if you hit like 112, then the next set of videos you can watch is from 112 to 223. So what I'm trying to say to you is they also obviously have like a hold or influence involved in like adult entertainment online. So it's just like everywhere. It's ubiquitous. So
again, I'll remind people that in Gematria, pornography, it's often abbreviated XXX. X is the 24th letter, so the numerology of 24 is 2 plus 4 is 6. So XXX is 666 in Pythagorean Gematria. If you write out pornography, if you write out Jesuit order, they have a lot of overlap, including 144, just like the phrase mark of the beast. And again, this stuff's not by accident. Again, the mark, the number of the beast is also related to man. And to me, when I look at it and try to think about the meaning, it's just like evil and good lives within all people. And what people choose to pursue is based on their environment and their influences. And we live in this highly polluted world that's constantly trying to pull you into things that are based in temptation and that we know are not good for us, but they're just hard to ignore because of our human qualities. Our taste buds love the great flavor of things that aren't exactly the best for us. People like sexual pleasure. It's easy to turn on a computer and watch a pornographic film. All of this stuff has been made so easy and convenient, all this temptation. And like you said, my work does show that we live in this world of evil, the devil's playground, if you will. And again, the reason I'm contending that it's that way and by this code is because the same people who helped us understand the world this way have built this world around us. And it's like they're playing God. They're knowing good and evil. And it's like they're having their fun with us, almost like the billionaires in Squid Game where they put a number over everything. But, friend, go ahead and finish your thought, but we got to let some other people get in here because there's a lot on hold.
No, that's it. I just want to say last thing is I don't know if you do like Ouija boards or anything like that, but I was experimenting with the Ouija board recently with a friend of mine, and you're not going to believe who made an appearance. We were asking if there was any spirits in the room, and it actually turned out that Stephen Hawking made an appearance, and he had a very important message for humanity, and I wanted to give you an exclusive right here on your show tonight. Is that okay with you?
I don't know if there's going to be a punchline to this or not, man, but anyway, I'm listening.
Yeah, so basically his message to all of humanity was...
Yeah, I thought so, man. I thought so. Indeed. All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought that was coming, man. Imagine if Stephen Hawking had 2 of those machines with the one button, man, the way he could have cranked out the books. But, yeah, let's go out to 941. 941, you're wrong. (941) Maybe just listening? All right. Have a good night, 941. Let's go out to 647, north of the border. What's up, 647?
Hey, Jack. Yeah, the whole thing about, like, believing, I don't know, I kind of agree with you, but, like, at the same time, like, I mean, the way I started watching you was like, I kind of like saw your stuff. I didn't really believe your stuff, your theories and everything. And then I kind of like, put myself back, thought about it a little bit, did a little like, try to work some stuff out, found some like interesting stuff on the Gematria. So I don't know, my belief became to my thinking, and then my thinking kind of like assured me to like be, to tell me that like, what you're kind of doing is like the truth, right? So, yeah. That's all I really want to say.
All right, man. I appreciate you phoning in. You have a good night.
All
right, take care. And his call made me think of something. A lot of people will leave the comment, Zach, you put down Jesus because we believe in Jesus, but you believe in Gematria so much. And whenever somebody leaves a comment like that, I'm just like, man, I feel bad for people. Like, how small is this person's IQ? Again, for those of you guys who leave comments like that, and that's the level of thinking you're on, you need to start getting more sleep, eating better. Your mind is really wrong, okay? It's just like your thoughts are so pathetic that it's sad. I don't believe in Gematria, okay? It took me 10 years to find this research, this knowledge, and then to apply it and see if there was anything to it. I saw that there was something about numbers being used to mock us in news, especially on 9/11, and I wondered why that was. So I had to go out and research and look for answers, and then when I finally found something, then I had to put it to the test and observe it for a long time to see if there was merit to what I thought I might have uncovered. And it's self-explanatory that what I did discover is what they're up to. That's why other people have learned and are able to reproduce the same data and, benefit from the knowledge in the same way. That's the difference between knowledge and thinking and facts and proof and evidence. It doesn't have anything to do with belief. I don't get on it every day and just say, I believe in Gematria because, and then just spout a bunch of stuff that nobody could ever prove. And it's sad that you guys can't see the difference between that and you're dumb enough to leave the comments that you are. Again, I'm talking about why belief's dangerous because it seems to make people stupid. Believers seem to be dumber people. I'm sorry to hurt people's feelings, but I don't really know any smart religious people. I never have. Not one. There's some that are smarter than others, but it's not like they're that smart. Some are just like brain dead. It's amazing they can even tie their shoes. And there's other ones that it's like, okay, seems like there's some intelligence in there. But anyway, we'll be right back, you guys. We've got an hour left. Sit tight.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like Beyond the Veil with Chris and Cherie Geo, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas, Karenism Raw with Karen and Missa, Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Rob Castaldo, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117? Or call into your favorite show, toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
The first ever prescription depressant hit the shelves today. Approved by the FDA last month, Despondex is intended as a treatment for the approximately 20 million Americans who are insufferably cheery. Tests prove the drug is effective at reducing a range of symptoms, from squealing loudly when a friend calls to use of the phrase cool beans and excessive hugging. Dr. Alman Way calls the drug a huge step forward in the battle against exuberance.
If you're in a good mood every so often, well, that's fine. That's normal. This is for those that have a persistent positive outlook on life.
Eva Henry of New Haven, Connecticut began participating in a clinical trial of Despondex 6 weeks ago.
I was always telling people how cute their outfits were and bringing them little gifts. I'd beam at anyone who made eye contact with me. I didn't realize life didn't have to be like that.
Eva said she never knew how her annoyingly chipper attitude was affecting those around her.
Over and over again, I'd asked Jeff to ride his bike down to the botanical garden with me, no matter how many times he said no.
And she was always smiling, but I didn't know what to do to help her.
I used to think, why am I the only one trying to set up single friends with each other? And now I realize it. I was sick. I needed treatment.
Eva says the drug may have saved their marriage.
Now Jeff and I can just waste a night sitting on the couch, watching a TV show neither of us enjoys. like a regular couple.
Not everyone is convinced that Despondex is the cure-all for perkiness, however. In this week's Time magazine, Michael Polosic of UCLA argues that many patients get similar results from natural remedies, something as simple as a diet of corn syrup and white bread and a total lack of exercise. But Dr. Way disagrees.
We have to erase the stigma attached with getting chirpy people help, real medical help. I mean, do you know what it's like to be around these people? It's pretty fucking annoying.
Doctors estimate the new drug could reduce the number of costume or theme parties in the U.S. by up to 40%.
Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
You guys, again, I gotta bring up a story. I'm gonna put this person's name out there because they even hang around the pages of other Gematria people in the community. But his name is Bartley Gerba. That's the name he goes by online, and that's the name he uses in person because I've met him twice. And you know, he claims to be a Christian and a man of God. And I've met him twice in person because he wanted me to come meet him. And the first time I met him, I told him, I was like, man, that's a tough time. I got to go through a lot of traffic. He's like, well, that's when, please. I went through traffic for an hour and a half to meet this guy in a coffee shop downtown Seattle. And I sat there for about 2.5, 3 straight hours and hardly had to say a word. He was just sharing all of his life's problems with me. And then he asked if we could meet up again, and I took him out for lunch. And when I took him out for lunch, again, the guy ordered everything. He ordered an expensive thing on the menu, multiple appetizers, a drink, a dessert. And after that experience, he then went online and started telling people that I was a shill. And he was saying that because I don't believe in Jesus, right? So this guy meets with me 2 times. I'm very nice to him. The second time, he runs up the bill. I pay for everything for him. And the next thing I know, in the name of Jesus, he's online making videos about how I'm a shill. But he's the same type of guy that tells stories about how he believes in Jesus because he gets attacked by demons and Jesus saves him from the demons. And all I can do as a person is look at this guy and say, like, does he have mental illness? Is this what's wrong with him? Is it mental illness? I mean, you're seriously going to shit on a guy who you just ran up the bill on, and then the first thing you're going to do is start making videos saying all this stuff? And it's weird how he's hung around for years. I mean, this stuff happened years ago. But again, just another Jesus guy. And again, I just don't have many good experiences from these Jesus people. You know? Paul, my neighbor Paul, who went to church every Sunday and who, you know, robbed from me when I tried to help him. You know, I mean, and then every Sunday after he ripped off, you know, my house, and then after he ripped off my house, he went out and bought the exact same vehicle as me with what he ripped off, and then he's driving to church each weekend. I mean, knowing what he did. These are examples of Christians that I've known in my life. And again, I mean, I think ultimately at the end of the day, they think because they believe in what they believe that everything is fine and dandy and it's okay to go against people that don't have the same beliefs as him. as them. But again, I got examples all day of why I think beliefs are horrible and need to be done away with. Let's go out to New Orleans to hear what they think. What's up, 504?
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, listen, I'm going to tell you real quick what everybody's doing wrong. They're all claiming to be liars and don't even realize we're all making the same mistake. And you're doing the same thing. We're all doing it. When you claim to be Zachary K. Hubbard or Zachary Keith Hubbard, the name on the birth certificate, for the date of birth, July 21st. What's the year of your date of birth?
What point are you trying to make?
The point I'm trying to make is when you claim a date of birth is a fiction. You don't have a date of birth. You have a birthday. We all have birthdays. And you only have one birthday, and that's fertilization. That's the act of fertilization when that one microscopic grain of sand was the master print for your body. When you claim to be Zachary K. Hubbard, born on a date of birth, which is a birth certificate, which is state property, you don't realize what you're claiming to be state property, and you're not even claiming to be the God in the flesh that you are. So believing kills everybody, whether you're a Jew, Christian, atheist, Muslim. Believing in a power outside yourself kills the power within, because you can't be both. You can't be God in the flesh and be believing in God. It's an oxymoron. That's like saying I'm a sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. That's what police want you to say all the time, because it's an oxymoron. You can't be both. You're either free or you're a slave. And Zachary K. Hubbard is a slave to the state that you were born in, or it was born in. As long as you keep claiming to be that position, they have full control of you, because that's the matrix. That's the matrix. Gematria is matriarch. Mater is mother, or ma. Ma is mother. Mater is mother. And mater is in the same word as material, like the material girl. That's the mother. And the material girl is who owns Zachary K. Hubbard. But you're the master of Zachary K. Hubbard. Nobody realizes who they are. And know thyself is number one. Because if you don't know that you're the master of Zach, then you're dead. Because Zach's I don't know if you know this or not, but a birth certificate is a death certificate. As long as you carry anything around saying this is me, you're claiming to be a dead infant. And that's the bottom line. So if you don't realize that fertilization day 0 was your starting point, which, by the way, if you look up the word circumpunct, it's the oldest symbol of God. If you look up that and you look up the, go to images, you'll see the target logo. It's the circle with the dot. That's your target. And you missed the mark when you said I was born on July 21st. You missed it by 266 days. And that's a horrible shot. And in archery, that's called a sin. So you are a sinner when you claim to be that thing, but you're really not. You're God in the flesh. But we don't realize who we are because we keep worshiping God.
So your whole argument is when the sperm meets the egg, that's when you're really born, not the day that you come into the earth. And then if you claim that your birthday is the day that you come onto the earth out of your mom's womb, then you're a liar?
Well, no. What I'm saying is you're not honoring day 0. You're saying you started when you came out of your mom's womb, but you started really from cell 1.
Haven't I pointed that out many times? Haven't I said it's interesting that I was conceived in 82? And they called me Zachary. Zachary's 82. So, anyway, man, I appreciate the thoughts. They're interesting. I hear what you're saying. As long as we consent to all the rules of this slave system and the way we're marked and stamped, then we're a part of it. I hear all that. But I don't know if it's
you do it voluntarily. You did that voluntarily. Nobody forced you to do that. So when you walked into the Office of Motor Vehicles and said, I'm Zachary K. Hubbard, you went from Superman to Clark Kent. And in Superman, it was the opposite. It's the other way around. Clark Kent goes through the booth and he becomes Superman. So you lost all your power because you gave it all away. Voluntarily, too, by the way. That's the 14th Amendment citizen. He's a voluntary slave. He wasn't forced to be a slave. He walked in voluntarily. So
I hear the things you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, well, your parents give you your name, right? Not the state, but then the state uses that name to track and control you.
Mom signs as an informant when she gives that name to the state. She's not giving it to you. She's not even naming you on that certificate because she doesn't have the authority to name a living being. She's naming a piece of you when you come into the world, not you. She can't name you, and that's being registered with the state. And you actually the landlord of that piece of land that's being registered in that name. You're the landlord. That's a tenant. So Zachary K. Hubbard is actually the state on your land, but you're claiming to be the tenant. And so what they do is they say, okay, you're going to be the tenant, and we're going to play the landlord over you. And we're going to be and that's why governments feel like they have the control, because you're claiming to be their property. The owner hasn't come forward and made a claim yet. if you don't come by the age of 7 and come by and claim that property as yours, and then the landlord of that piece of property, which I'm talking about the maternal and the fetal maternal afterbirth is what they're named in the hospital. So that is what Zachary K. Hubbard is. And that's the Matrix, too.
Okay, well, here I have a question. I don't have any children of my own, so I haven't had to go through the process of having a child and all this stuff. So are you saying that parents, when they have their children, they should not follow any of the... They should just make sure they're not registered at all with the state? You know, just do the birth at home, make sure that there's no trace of them? Well, what's the point you're trying to make?
Well, no, because the state's actually doing you a favor with that, but we're just using it. We're misusing it. So everything in that certificate on security paper is actually paying for everything for you. It's actually it's kind of like Jesus that died for you, and it pays for all your sins. But when you take on that character, and you become the slave, you become the one that pays the sins, and it's the other way around. So you either are sovereign, which is free, and a king of your domain, or you claim to be the domain, and the king goes bye-bye, and the state says, we'll play sovereign. That's why a state is sovereign, because you're not. But if you knew who you were, then you kick the state off the throne. Now, you don't kick it off for everybody. You kick it off for you. And only you can save you and your person. You can't save my person. It's my job. I'm the God of my person. You're the God of your person. There's only one
Okay,
God
so what are you doing different? I imagine you were born in a hospital and named and given a social security number, so what have you done to escape this circumstance?
I put the state on notice to let them know that I made a mistake at the Office of Motor Vehicles 33 years ago, and they have to fix things, and they have to rescind and revoke that contract because of my mistake. It's my mistake. I put it into action until I make the change and say I made a mistake and you need to fix it. Until I do that, or until I've done that, nothing changes. It stays that way until. And Social Security, by the way, is a secondary account. It's not your primary account. Your primary is your birth certificate, and they get you to get mom to sign you up for a social, which is a secondary account, and that's who you claiming to be right there. You claiming to be the Social Security number. And what they did was they took away your name and they gave you a number, just like the song Secret Agent Man. We've given you we took away your name and gave you a number, whatever. That's what they're doing. So you don't want to, using that, getting a license is the problem, because now you're going and asking for permission from a state to drive on your streets. They're already your streets. But when you ask for permission, then they're not yours anymore. You just lost that. You're like a child asking for permission.
So you let them know it was a mistake 33 years ago. You rescind what you did then, and so how is your life different now from doing that?
Well, since I'm not claiming to be a dead man anymore, because that's what I was claiming. A dead man has to earn a living. I don't have to earn a living anymore. Everything's paid for.
So where did the resources come from to pay for everything from doing that?
I pulled the dead man to me. Now the dead man's alive, because the piece of me that died on my date of birth, on its date of birth, it's no longer stuck in the past. Because when you celebrate a birthday, Zach, what happens is you're actually going around on a loop. Calendars go around in a circle. I know they're shaped like squares, but they go around in circles. And when you say, today's my birthday, you're saying today is day one for you. And then you go all the way to the end of the calendar. You come all the way back around, and on 7/21 again, you're starting over again. That's what Groundhog's Day and Happy Death
I get
Day,
all
Russian
that.
doll,
I make the
live,
same
die,
points. But again, how has doing this? How has it made your life any different? You said everything's paid for now. How? So, what? You just have a roof over your head and an endless supply of food, and just from doing that, how's that possible? That doesn't make sense to me.
You don't have to have an endless supply of food. You don't have to run from the system. You just have to put the system in its place. People are trying to run from the system. They're trying to run from everything. It's like, don't run. That's what criminals do. Come forward and make a claim on your property and claim to be the sovereign master of that, the creator of that. So now the state, for me, is my obligor. They're obligated to me because they promised that to me when that thing was registered 52 years ago. They promised. That was their promise to me. But I screwed up and I said, I'm going to take and be the obligor. And you be the beneficiary in this stupid trust that we got going on here. So basically what you're trying to do is you're collapsing that trust that you're living through, because there shouldn't be a trust when you're a living man. That's only for dead people. That's for decedents. They set up trust. When it's like we're living through a dead piece of us instead of the living man. We're not claiming to be a living man. So life has not existed
for Zachary K. Hubbard until you come forward and claim life. And then the Sedekevite Trust in 1666 states that when a supposed dead man proves life, he's revested with his title. But until then, he's dead, lost at sea, forgotten forever. And that's what everybody needs to do is collapse the trust, pull themselves together. They tell you that movies all the time. Pull yourself together. It's you and that other thing that separated when you arrived. And that was the chasm. That was the split of your life. And from that point on, you got indoctrinated in school. They taught you, the main thing they taught you in school was your name and your date of birth.
Okay, listen, it's like you keep beating around what I'm asking you. How is your life different than mine right now since we both live in the United States? Because of what you've done, what is different about your life than everyone who hasn't done this?
What do you do for income?
Well, it depends on what point of my life you're talking at.
Okay. I put something on deposit when I arrived, and now I'm just collecting off of that deposit. So my deposit was made 52 years ago, and now I'm drawing off that deposit. So everything in that name for me.
Okay, and you're not being taxed. You're not being taxed, right? You're not being taxed. You're getting to keep all of the dividends you get from your investment.
Taxation. If you're being taxed on anything, you're not an owner of anything. Taxation's slavery. That's what taxation is. If you're paying taxes, you don't own anything. You don't even own the car you drive, the house you live in. You don't own anything if you're being taxed. And if you want to test that theory, stop paying property tax.
Yeah, I'm aware of all this. I'm aware of all this. All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. You have a good night. Okay.
No problem, man. You have a good.
So again, there is something to what he's saying, but I wanted to get to how's he supporting himself. Okay, so he had money in the past. He invested. He's living off that investment. He's not paying taxes right now, and he's staying outside of the crosshairs of the government. But yeah, it seems like whenever people call in with that, it's like they dodge points and then start talking about this instead, and it's never clear. And there is something to what he's saying, though. I know there's an element of truth there. So 309, what's going on? $309?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, just to answer your question real quick, the belief, that word comes from the word belie, which means fail to give a notion of it or impression of something, disguise or contradict. That's what I think is what's wrong with everybody, belief and everything. And the answer for the first caller, when you seen Jesus in the flames, that's called pareidolia. It's seeing familiar objects or patterns in random and related things that like seeing Jesus in a potato chip. That's what he was doing.
Right, because the thought's already in the mind, so you just see the other things. You're already consciously thinking about that, so you see in other things. The clouds, thanks for bringing up the word for that, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he kept going into the Bible verse, how they can break them down. They have actually a book called the Metaphysical Bible, where it gives you the definition of the metaphysical and esoteric meaning of the Bible. Like water, for example, is consciousness. Jesus turned water into wine. I always wonder why Jesus was always pointing up and pointing at his heart. That's the seventh and the fourth chakra. Jesus 74. It's all allegory to me.
Interesting, yeah. The seven chakras. That is interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, a good channel on that. He does called Lifting the Veil. I actually told him about Gematria. His comment was, "Oh, you can just cherry pick numbers or anything." So I just went on a little spree on 52s and the dates, and they went on.
Is that the dude? Is that the dude that has the gap in his teeth?
No, he's the guy with the long hair, kind of has like a Jesus appearance. That's the thing about belief. So when you see a white guy with long hair, he looks like Jesus. Like people would say that to me before. They say, "Oh, because I have long hair and a little goatee."
Trust me, I know all about it. I used to have long hair, and people used to say it to me all the time. "Oh, look, it's Jesus." And I'd be like, "Man, the stereotype." Uh-huh. So I lived it. I know all about it, man. All right, well, great thoughts, man.
Into the esoteric means that that's all I wanted to talk about. Bring that up.
I'll look into it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's amazing how many people just dismiss Gematria. Oh, yeah, you can just do whatever you want with that. People do use it in a dumb way, but it's like, no, don't you see what's going on just, like, undeniably? Again, I mean, I don't know what to do, man. People are so dumb. I just don't know what to do. West Virginia, 681, what's going on?
Yes, the Jesus character is a meme, and memes are real and have power to the extent believed in. So there's certainly belief in power in a meme. Okay, now, if you want to understand what Jesus is, Caesar's Messiah, the Roman invention, the Flavian Romans, these were brilliant people. They were the constructors of the Colosseum. They decided that, subjugating our empire with blunt force trauma is a lot of work. We can accomplish the same thing with trauma-based mind control and intellectual terrorism, and that is the Christian religion. And it's just amazing where the first caller said something about, what was it? Wait a minute. Belief is the enemy of knowing. That's right. He's saying he was knowing. Well, actually, he was proving the point that he didn't know, he was simply believing. And I've seen the corollary also with Covidiocy and the belief in the 11th September. These are religions. These are not based on facts. And I used to have a thing, I saw through this Covidiocy nonsense from the very beginning, and I've learned something here recently that I'm kind of an unconscious empath. And when I see someone like that, unconsciously I was seeing myself as in a rowboat, in a lifeboat, and I see someone drowning, and I want to try to throw them a rope, but for my efforts I am cursed, and I watch them drown. So now I am absolutely done with that, especially the boomers. I mean, oh my God, a Covidiot boomer, because I was out in a pub in a garden, and I said something when I first saw these people with these muzzles on, I'm thinking these must be the people that believe in the 11th September story. And then the whole thing I go on and on about, G.D. Boyd's work. But there's one guy there, I was there, I saw it. And I said, no, you saw CNN. You saw the fake video artifact on CNN. So anyway, the point was belief and knowing. So if someone wants to counter an argument and they cannot stick to facts, they have three things, basically. It's ad hominem attack, logical fallacy, and straw man arguments. And that's all they have. They can't stick to facts. And when people, and the religious people, the one thing he brought up, this evangelical insanity of you have one chance, you will have one life. If you screw it up, you're tortured forever. This is not a divine. If you need a blood sacrifice, if you need to be washed in blood to get your God, that is wholly demonic. Wholly demonic. And honestly, I consider myself a Vedantist. The basic principle is aham brahmasmi, I am spirit. What's the difference between matter and spirit? These people, they call themselves spiritual. They have no idea. They are religious. They are religious. They have their beliefs. So anyway, that was my idea. Honestly, Caesar's Messiah is fantastic, except for at one point the narrator says a comment that says certainly a lot of good has been done by Christianity. Nothing has ever been done by Christianity. Maybe somebody's body has been clothed, but their mind has been destroyed. It's like a jab. The whole idea of jabbing, germ theory is pseudoscience, contagion is a myth. So whoever has received a jab has been positively benefited. Now I guess I'm babbling off topic or something. But anyway, I appreciate your work. I never really was exposed to Gematria much, but it's extremely compelling, Anyway.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts. You're very well spoken. And I agree with you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, Jim.
Let's go out to Indiana. 812, you're on.
Come on, tell me.
You're on. It's you.
All right, brother. Tell you what, I'm the old conspiracy theorist from way back, from the 90s. My kids are like 30 years old. Dude, you have vindicated everything I've said for years and years. Because Gematria is the only thing that makes sense. I've been listening to you for the last 2 years. But here's my thing. I'm going to make it short and sweet. They've been recycling our change. The whole freaking change shortage thing, like I'm a coin collector. I've done this for a long time. Everybody has the evidence to sink these people right in their freaking pocket. They wanted to get back to 2018, 2019, and the 2020 penny. because the 2017 is the only year in the whole history, 225 years of the mint, they put a P on the penny to celebrate that. Well, you can see, and I can prove all the way back to whenever our money was gold and silver, that they've been recycling this shit forever.
Interesting. I gotta look into that.
All you have to do is look. Pocket.
Appreciate that. All right, friend. Well, thanks for the support, and I'm gonna look into that one. Thank you for the call too. You have a good night.
Everybody look into it.
Yeah, will do.
I'll keep listening. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. There's that P again. Let's go out to 757. What's up, 757?
Hey, Abdullah, how you doing, Zach?
Hey, man.
Yeah, all right, the word belief, I mean, how I see it, to me, it's like the word think. Because you could be like, belief has to come with intelligence. Intelligence has to back up belief. You can believe something that it don't have a certain proof to it. Like I tell people today, with the coronavirus, I say, especially the Christians, I say, do you believe or do you think that God knew it was going to be a pandemic in 2020? Automatically, they're going to say yes. And if they mostly say yes, they'll say, then if he knew it was going to be a pandemic in 2020, don't you think he put something inside you to fight it off? They say, no, he believed he would give man the intelligence to come up with a vaccine to cure humanity. I say, no, he wouldn't do that on my belief and my understanding, because that would put man in a divine aspect with God. He's an immoral person. If you look at man, he got men having sex with men on TV, women doing it to women. If they want to do that, that's all right and fine with them. But don't keep showing that to my kids in every program. So man, to me, is an immoral man. God is not going to leave it up to him to save humanity with a vaccine. So once they speak out and say, he had to know. He know everything. Then they done right there. They know man is not going to be responsible to save humanity with a so-called miracle vaccine. Then he can find a miracle vaccine for corona, but he can't find one for diabetes, or he can't find one for cancer. Well, these things killing humanity too, just as much as this coronavirus is. So I told the lady, I had coronavirus, and coronavirus to me was not as worse as the COVID I had.
All right, the commercials came on. We'll be right back in break. Sit tight.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
True initiation is an inward journey. It's a spiritual path that is totally inward. It has nothing to do with anything external to you.
I want to determine if the Grand Architect is indeed what I believe it to be, which is the artificial intelligence.
The initiatory path is one of self-discovery and self-revealing. It's not a journey that someone can hold your hand through.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the steps of initiation. Remember, you are divinity.
Step Beyond the Veil with Chris and Sherry Geo. Fridays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. There's about 20-some people on hold and 20-some minutes of show. So, again, if you can keep your call efficient, to the point, we'll get through a lot of callers. First up, 646, you're on. Six, 4, 6.
And 1.
Hello? Maybe just listen tonight. Let's go out to 661. 661, you're on.
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Sorry, my phone's a little broken.
Here, I can boost your volume. I'll make you louder.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm just going to read the definition of placebo effect really quick. It's on Google. So it says, placebo effect, noun, a beneficial effect produced by a placebo drug or treatment, which cannot be attributed to the properties of the placebo itself, and must therefore be due to the patient's belief in that treatment.
Absolutely. It's a great example. Yeah, for people who don't know placebos, that's what they do in medical experiment. They give a control group the placebo, and then the other one's the real drug, and see if the results are better in the real group than the placebo group. Because, again, the power of the mind. They think they're getting a medicine to make them better, they get better. You know, that's the power of belief. That's why it's amazing how many Christians are hung up on, I believe in Jesus and this happened to me, so how do you explain that? It's like, yeah, and this guy over here is Muslim and believes in this, and this happened for him, so how do you go against his religion? The power of belief. There is something to belief, but again, go ahead. Did you want to make a larger point than that?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to, you could definitely piggyback off of the next thing I'm going to say, but yeah, I mean, I do think it's how you use it. And so I think it is a gift. And obviously from that definition, it literally falls into the realm of metaphysics. Even medical journals and what I just read to you said, hey, we literally can only point to it being this person's belief. That's why it's a placebo effect. So I just wanted to say, yeah, so the power of belief is extremely crucial. And why I think it's extremely crucial, especially in this movement and everything that you have going for you, is because when you believe, it fuels your behavior. So what you believe first, regardless if you're aware of it, conscious of it, doesn't matter. What's truly in your deepest belief in that moment will fuel your next actions. So belief is everything because it comes first, regardless of logic, regardless of sophistication, intelligence. I don't know what the previous caller was talking about. He started off wrong. It had nothing to do with that. Belief can be completely wrong, which is the whole message of this show, and which is very obvious from a lot of people calling in. But yeah, just keep it short and sweet. Yeah, belief is genuinely everything because it will fuel your next steps, your next actions, which then has reactions and plays the bigger picture in the whole world. So yeah, you can pick it back off that, and that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I appreciate the thoughts. Good points made. You have a good night, friend. All right. Good job there. Let's go out to Illinois. Illinois 815.
Hi, Zach.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I'm good. Good. Okay, I want to shoot out my references before I talk. So there's like Madame Blavatsky, Isis Unveiled, Cry of the Ancients. Those are books. He Walked the Americas, The Lost Years of Jesus, and Revelation of the Magi. And those are the main hitters. But before we get started, I highly recommend looking at 537-555 Under the Radar on YouTube. It is loaded with Gematria, and it's absolutely incredible. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell you quick what I found. I mean, it was years and years, but I'll try to condense it. So I had tried different religions. None of them rang true. And my idea of spiritual was taking a walk in the woods. And then I started seeing different like signs of things and all that stuff. And so I started following it. And I found that if you want to, like, belief is very bad and it's very good too. Like, if you believe something and you don't investigate it, you can end up with a Jim Jones or 8 people killing themselves to catch a comet, or one of those people. But I think it's our responsibility to really dig in to see what's going on. So as far as the Jesus thing, I was like, okay, it makes no sense. I open the Bible, it makes no sense. And so, they can believe what they believe, and I'll go in the woods, and, that's my spiritual lift. But then I started reading these books, and the gist of it was that he traveled to Tibet, like in the Lost Years of Jesus. They have records of him there, and they have records of him. The Chinese have records of him. They knew he was going to be born 10,000 years before he was, symbolized by a blue comet. The indigenous people of America, they all met him, and like the Cherokees, they would call him Chizos because they couldn't understand, they couldn't pronounce his name. Because they asked him, "What's your name?" He says, "Well, give me whatever name you want." And they said, "Well, what do they call you?" And they said, and one is Esau and Jesus. So anyways, if you go into the indigenous people of the world, there's footprints that are in granite in Canada. There's handprints in South America that he had put there that was like melted granite. And so his message was the same as Buddha and the same as Muhammad: love one another, love the Creator. And so, I kept digging, kept reading, and one of the Native American stories was that he told his people, like he could see, what was going to happen and stuff like that. And he was saying, when people lose their choice, and when they find my Father's house, then you will know it's near the end. And I had talked to you before about this. There was a guy named Ron Wyatt, and he was digging in near the Tulip Gardens. And so he dug down, he found the ark, and he found where Jesus had been crucified along with the thieves, and you can find this online. It's really intense. It's very, very good. And so when Jesus was dead and it was blood and water, and there was an earthquake at the moment he died, it ran down and landed on the mercy seat. So Ron Wyatt had said, well, there's this dark material, I'm going to get it tested. So he got it tested, and they swirled it for 72 hours in saline, and there were 24 chromosomes, and they were like, we know it's human blood, we've never been able to get a chromosome count, and you get DNA but not chromosome count on dead things. And so well, they did the chromosome count. They said there's only 24 chromosomes, and it was 23 came from mom, and 1 came from the father. And so this is the house of God, is the Ark of the Covenant. So the Israelis, they basically said, you can't dig anymore. He was discouraged, and he saw a very tall man in ancient clothing, and he said, yes, you were meant to find the Ark. And so nobody else had seen him except for this man that he was sitting next to. So it was like, okay, these are really curious things, so I kept watching and learning and stuff like that. And then, but then when he had said to these Native Americans, he said to them, when we no longer have a choice, okay, and that ties in with this whole vaccine thing, with the jab, because it has graphene oxide, which reacts with 5G, and it also has parasites that attack the brain. It has all kinds of really nasty stuff in it. So
again, caller, we're trying to keep it to a minute or two. You've gone way over that. What's the ultimate point trying to be made here?
I'm just saying that I did a lot of investigating. He really did exist, and that so the belief in him, it doesn't give you justification to attack others. You know what I mean?
Well,
and that's what
I
the
agree.
Catholic Church has done. And it's like,
I agree.
So, but when we're
exactly, that's what I'm so tired of with religious people. They think they have the right to attack others because they don't believe the same as them and accuse them of being all these bad things. It's just they can't see how they're of evil. I mean, you're of evil if you think you believe in Jesus and you're better than everybody else and you're going to condemn them and say all this stuff about them. You're an evil person. That's what I see mostly religion brings to the world. Evil out of people. It's just, so, yeah, I appreciate it. That point could have been made a lot more quickly, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have a good night. All right, let's go out to 858. What's going on? (858) hung up. Let's go out to unknown 929. 929. 929?
Zach.
Hello?
Zach.
Yeah, you're on.
Zach?
I hear you.
All right, first of all, there's too many churches around. That's a big red flag.
Indeed.
Secondly, out of darkness comes light. Okay? Out of darkness comes light. What if the Jesus, the God that they feel like they follow that is real, what if it's really inverted and it's really Satan, the real God? What about that?
Well,
also,
that's something to think about. That's something to think about. And a lot of Christians will say, well, the God of this world, the Bible makes it clear, the God of this world is Satan. So,
because isn't Satan the great deceiver? Right? How much more deceiving is that? How much more deceiving would that be? And also, sorry to cut you off, that's all demiurge. Yahweh, Allah, Jesus, all that bullshit is demiurge, feeding off your anxiety and all that. Trying to keep you back here when you die. With that shining light, trying to get you to go there so you can come back here and live a bullshit life again. That's all I have to say, brother. Appreciate you.
I appreciate
I always
the thoughts.
follow you. I'm on the Patreon, all that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the support. You have a good night. And I think that's absolutely fair to consider the point he made. How do you know you haven't been tricked into believing something evil? I started to feel like when I was a child in the church that things weren't good in the church. The children, I knew how they really were outside of confirmation class. They're a bunch of punks at school. You know, the girl who gave me the biggest scolding, my own peer, when I was questioning stuff, you know, she was the first one to go off and get pregnant right away as a young girl. And I'm not saying necessarily that's a bad thing, but I mean, that's not the biblical teaching. You're not supposed to be sleeping with other people and getting pregnant outside of marriage. And she was giving me the biggest lectures when we were both children. Her name was Amy. And, you know, it's just like, just so much hypocrisy and so much just not good. I mean, it's not good. There's so much stuff there's so much stuff that's not good about religious people. Just, again, I think hypocrisy is the word to describe most of these people. And anyway, let's get back to the callers here. 917. 917, what's going on?
Exactly.
That is me.
Hello?
That's me.
Yeah, can we praise Jesus one moment for the Patreon?
Can we praise Jesus for a moment? How do you mean it?
Fill the dreams. You don't brag enough about that.
Don't what? Don't do what? What?
I said the fill the dreams. You don't brag enough about that.
What do you mean?
The fill the dreams. The Yankees going in with 36 wins. Was it 63 wins?
We said at the All-Star break the Yankees would have 63 wins at the end of the Field of Dreams games because Field of Dreams in Major League Baseball is 63. By the way, you bringing up that movie, I actually just watched that movie yesterday. That movie has a lot. That's an interesting movie, Field of Dreams. If for people who haven't seen that movie, there's a big segment about book burning and censorship in it, and I think that's part of the reason they did the game this year because of that moment in the movie. But that movie actually has a lot to do with belief and.
How long before did you call the amount of games?
I said it at the All-Star break. It was close to a month before the game was played. But I mean that's not.
It was over a month. It was over a month. You had a hunch. Over a month. You was like, it's gonna be 60. I think I see it, guys. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I mean, that's just from understanding the patterns in the rig system, and again, that's not believing, that's thinking. But
patterns, yeah.
I do appreciate the support.
Listen, man, I feel for you, man. The callers are horrible, man. Just people don't. They need to learn. They need to learn reading. It's just horrible, man. Man, I pray for you. Have a good night, Zachary.
Have a good night. You take care. All right, let's go out to 206, Seattle area. What's up, 206?
How you doing, Zach? This is the guy you met from way back in Seattle.
The man with the voice. Yes.
Yeah, man. I got two things for you real quick. First and foremost, I'll just say this, right? For the people that believe in Christianity and, you know, which goes back to sun worship, which was a Jesuit creation, mind you, going all the way back to Constantinople. At the end of the day, most of these people wouldn't believe, if they knew what the Bible was really saying and what its intent truly was, they would not be Christians and they would put this Bible down almost immediately. That's just how I feel, and that's how I think about it. Number two, I noticed with the Mariners game, and I don't know if you saw that last Mariners game, but one of the because I don't know if you noticed the believe sign that these people were using during that whole little run of them trying to make the postseason push. But I kept saying believe, and of course believe is 60 in the regular ordinal, and then it also is 33 in the reverse ordinal, if I'm not mistaken. So I also, one thing I noticed what was said in that broadcast was that the Mariners I think last Monday he said something on the line of they were involved in a scripted game. And I keep hearing, and I found it funny because, like, I've noticed a couple times either with the Mariners or with other teams that the broadcast announcers are actually getting a little bit more bold, like as if people don't see it. They were involved in a script, and I quote, a scripted game. You know, so they just putting it out there. And the funny thing is that it went all the way down to the last part of the season where they're having all these people believe and whatnot, and just for them to come up short. So who knows? They might have been siphoning some energy just for
True. You're right.
Maybe.
You're right. And I'll remind that 33 number goes places in Seattle, because Seattle used to be called Alki, and Alki is 33. And anyway, now it's named after the Native American Indian. The word Indian is 33. It's named after Chief Seattle. Supposedly gave a speech about all things being connected on March 11th, 113, and Chief Seattle's 113. Of course, that's his English name, but... Yeah, I mean, and I always make that point about how they love to punk a home crowd in a sports game. Like how often in prime time the home team will lose. Look at home winning records so far in the NFL this season. Home teams have a losing record so far in the NFL. What happened to home field advantage? It's just like they love siphoning the negative energy, getting these people to pay all this money for this game and then go home a loser. So.
Right, and you know what I noticed too, and I also want to just transition to my last question because I do want to give a little bit of information. I noticed that the All-Star game for Major League Baseball is going to be in Seattle, actually in T-Mobile Park, in 2023. Right now, numerically, 223. Right, just from the esoteric aspect. Now, I'm about to do a video on. Because I'm an Israelite, and I do certain things in the Israelite community, and I've also, one of the main reasons why I came up to you that day was to introduce that to my community, and because I'm about to expose certain people using the understanding that I've gained from you from the last 2 years. I've also got one of your books, numbers between. September 11th all the way to coronavirus, that book. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other information on 223? Because we know that in the reverse it's 322 for skull and bones, but is there
223? Yeah. Yes. I always make. Look, Andy Reid just got his 223rd career win this past weekend, setting the record, the first coach to win 100 games with two teams. He did against his old team, Philadelphia. He got his 223rd win. Philadelphia equals 223. So does the phrase, the synagogue of Satan, 223, and the letters written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews who are liars in the Bible. 223 in Jewish Gematria represents Masonic. Masonic's 223, and 223 is the 48th prime, and Freemason has that Gematria of 48, like the book, The 48 Laws of Power. There's a lot to the number 223. If you read my first book, Letters and Numbers, and just do a control search for 223, there's a ton of 223 in that book.
Oh, not the one that I just bought for the
first book. The first book is way bigger than you have my newer book. My first book has just a lot more information on a lot more things. 223, I cover a lot in that book.
Okay, Letters to Numbers. Okay, that book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, friend. Well, I appreciate the call. We're running out of the show. Let me let a few more people get in, but keep up the good work. Thank you. Yeah, you have a good night.
Yeah, likewise. Same to you.
Take care, man. And by the way, the Seattle Kraken are about to start their season. I really don't think that's a good sign for the Pacific Northwest. A Kraken's a giant monster out of the ocean. They've been saying for years the Pacific Northwest is due for a horrendous earthquake. I just feel like this Kraken thing they're doing is not a good sign of things to come. 971, what's up? 971, Oregon State. Hello, you're on.
That would be me.
Yes.
I'm LaDonna Franklin, East Side girl. Very happy to talk to you. Real excited about how everything that you've done in the recent past is just marveled. Everything. I went back. I kind of gave up. And I just went back and I just started reviewing other people's anatomy and so forth and this and that. I was really impressed by the fact that somehow all these people, all these guys, all these representatives, they all just, just did these upcoming things. And then they got a little bit tired, but you didn't. So I just want to say thank you, because
I appreciate that.
I'm
It makes
really excited. Pardon?
I understand what you're saying. There's so many people who've been working these years, but they've quit in this most difficult time when people need to be speaking out more than ever. And again, it's just like, I can't believe how many people have quit right now, and it's not the time to quit. So I appreciate you recognizing that, and for all the people out there who quit, I wish you guys would come back.
Yeah, I'd also like to input that I really took about 3 weeks of all my time and hours upon hours, and I really studied because I wanted to understand, what the various things were. And I trusted you at the outset. I had no problem with that, but I had to go and look, and they got tuckered out. They seemed tired. There were things that they posed with regard to things like, I just want to, go ahead and, do something else. Well, that part's fine. But by my faction, by my belief, the one thing that occurred to me was that you were the only one that was still being passionate, that was still efforting, that was still going forward, that was determining to say, look, I refuse to give up. We have to do this. Pardon me, but it was really a various situation, and I just, feel like you've examined most everything, and there's so much left.
Indy, I appreciate you closing out the show. We just ran out of show. Thank you so much. Everyone have a good night, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Until next time. All right, True Seeker. I can't control the commercials or the music. Everything's on timers. I'm a guest on TFR. I have a sign-in window that's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. I appreciate all of you on the East Coast who stay up till midnight. There's so many things I wanted to talk about today, and I don't know if just to do a quick recap of some of these stories here at the end of the stream. I really wanted tonight's show to be about the believing thing because, again, I saw somebody in the comments say, Zach, stay in your lane and just talk Gematria. Beliefs are another. It's like, stay in my lane, man. My lane's not getting it. My lane and what I'm doing is not being received by enough people, and that's a problem. That is a problem, and I know why it's not being received by enough people. It's because they're believers. They don't want to think about what I'm showing. They just want to deny it on a whim. Just keep believing in the things that they've been believing in their whole life, not switching anything up and just going along on this treadmill of life that's taking us all to hell, man. So we got to address the belief thing. And for all the people that dedicate so much time to attacking me and harassing me every day because I don't believe against them, because I don't believe the same way as them, it's just like, these people, man, they need to change. If they don't change, nothing's going to change. And for all of you guys who leave comments like, oh, Zach, I like your work, but I'm praying for your soul because you're doing yourself injustice over there going against Jesus. Again, you guys, pray for better things. Don't pray for my soul. If I'm going to hell for speaking this, then that's what's going to happen, okay? And then I'll accept the consequences for that. I'm not worried about that. Pray that people wake up. Pray that your Jesus comes and wakes everybody up, snaps them out of their coma. Pray for something that needs to happen. You don't need to pray for my soul. I think my soul is intact over here, And that's because I've been trying to live a life of purpose, a life of service, a life that's about more than just me and pleasuring me and doing everything for me. I just haven't been that person. And some people might say it's all astrology. I'm a Cancer. Cancers are caring people in astrology. You know, I don't know if that's true about every cancer, but I'd say it's pretty true about me. I've definitely been a caring person. I care about things. I care about justice and truth and, you know, evil getting away with the stuff that evil gets away with in this world. I mean, that's been my life for a long time now. And, yeah, it just gets annoying that the only thought a person could have about me is, oh, well, I like what you're doing, but God, oh my God, you don't believe the same as me? It's just like, why? Why is that what obsesses your mind? I mean, who cares? That's the way it should be. Who cares if somebody doesn't have all the same beliefs as you? You know, just to give the believers a bone, I was trying to think if there's anything I believe in. Maybe the thing I believe in is that I believe the world can get better. Because it's hard for me to say, honestly, that I think the world can get better. Looking at the world, it's hard for me to say that I think the world can really get better looking at it. It's like, look at what's going on right now. Look at what is going on right now. I mean, just the most obvious lie ever. The news just mocking us in the most nastiest of ways every single day. And again, you guys, I mean, you don't have to believe in me. You can look at what I said. I said many years ago that if we don't wake up by 2020, shit's going to get real bad. And I said, why 2020? I didn't just pull the number out of my ass. I said it because it's 19 years after 9/11, and 19 is important to these people. It has to do with time. It has to do with chaos, their order out of chaos agenda. I was telling you this a long time ago. What ends up being the thing in 2020? They put fucking COVID-19. They put 19 in the name, okay? You don't have to believe in what I'm doing over here. What I'm doing over here is speaking facts and showing you how this cabal's operating and why. You know, it's not about belief. And then dummies, they'll come and say, Zach believes so much in Gematria. It's like they don't even understand language, these people. They don't know the difference between think and believe. But yeah, if I believe in anything, I guess it's that I believe things can get better. I have to believe because I don't see any evidence that that is the case. You know? I see everything around me getting worse. I see a decline like this. So it's hard to go, I think things can get better, man. I think they can get better. It's hard to say that. But somehow I still believe where there's a will, there's a way. Somehow something's going to change. So maybe that's where my one belief is. Maybe that's the one belief I have that keeps me going each day. That I believe that somehow, some way, if I keep working towards the right thing, it's going to make somebody else working towards the right thing. That's going to eventually make enough people work towards the right thing so that things get better. I don't see any sign that that's going to happen right now. But again, I won't just quit because of that. I won't just quit and say, okay, things are getting bad. I've been doing this every day for 8 years. It's continuing to get worse every day, so I'm going to quit. But I'm also not going to start saying like, well, okay, now maybe it's time for me to go join that religion over there so I can have some community and we can all believe in this and sing Kumbaya together. I don't want to do that because I think that group doing this Kumbaya the whole time is the reason things have gotten worse. They've been so focused on Kumbaya over here and these nonsensical beliefs and haven't done anything that actually matters. They've been part of the reason we've been going down. So I think I'm making sense. I'm trying to. But again, just look at those words I've had up on the screen all night. Lie, live, believe, how similar they are, how people are living lies, how people are believing from birth because it was forced on them from authority. You know, again, people invent truths within beliefs that are they really true? No, but because you start to believe and then you start to accept these truths from the beliefs, then you start to trust in the authorities that are giving the beliefs. You see what I mean? And the next thing you know, you got people believing liars who are the authority, who want to exploit the believers because, you know, they're under the thumb of these people. These people have decided they're going to believe in authority. And for that, they're now being punished by something that is dishonest, disingenuous, something like our federal government, something like so many of these mega church pastors that are nothing like Jesus. And I understand that, Christians. Even though I don't believe in what I was raised in, some people say I'm a Christian because I was baptized, and once you're baptized, you're always a Christian. But I still did come up in the system, and I took in my mind what's good from Christianity, and I made that part of my life. I mean, that's where I first learned that it was important to live a life of service and be humble and not be materialistic. Like, all of this stuff comes from Christianity, but it also comes from other spiritual teachings. It's not unique to Christianity. But again, just for the believers, understand, I realize there's some good things within the religion, but at the end of the day, those teachings are in other places. And again, you don't have to say, I'm going to be part of this group. I'm going to make myself part of this group. I'm going to, again, when you put yourself in groups, you become part of this division scheme too, right? The authority, they want us in the groups they make for us, whether that's religious or politics. And look at us, just fighting continuously over whose belief system's better, Again, I don't see any of this stopping until we stop believing and behaving the way we do and behaving as the authorities expect us to do. So I think I've been super redundant and made that point extremely clear. And, in next week's show, here, I'm going to pray to Jesus or whoever it is that's listening. Please, next week, have Bartley Gerba call in here and explain to me why, I want Bartley Gerba to call in. Listen to me, Bartley Gerba. I want you to call in. Please call in and explain to me why you did what you did to me in the name of Jesus. I want to hear that guy's voice because I haven't seen him or talked to him at all in person since the last time he rung up the bill and then started making videos that I was a shill and I was a bad person because I don't believe in Jesus. Like, dude, why did you want to hang out with me 2 times? I mean, it was just like, just looking back at it, I was like, God, I mean, what is wrong with this guy? I want to hear from Bartley Gerba, a big believer out there who spent a lot of time slandering my name, and all I've ever done for you is, drive through a traffic jam to sit there for 3 hours and get you a cup of coffee while you tell me everything wrong in your life, and then ring up a huge... if somebody ever offers to buy me something, I'll look like what the cheapest thing is on the menu. I'll get a water, nothing else. Because I don't like... I mean, it's nice when people do something for you, but I don't like when other people do stuff for me, really. I don't. I like to help other people. You as the Christian who rings up the huge bill and then goes out and just slanders the person, like, where is that in the Christian teaching? But again, the reason I want this guy to call in next week is because he just reminds me what religious people are. Just frauds. And then attacking other people. Oh my God, man. Yeah, and I know he's out there because I always see him commenting in everybody's videos. He's hanging around everybody in the community from Chigozi Truth to Derek to Simple Truth to, Yeah Right, The Matrix. He's around, this guy. He is around. And Bartley, if you do call in next week, tell me where Jesus is in all this. How much longer do we have to wait for Jesus to come help us out? So, yeah, I just always think, these Christian types that leave these messages for me, like there's something wrong with me. It's like, these people have to be the most spiritually blind people there are. Show me anyone else in the world. Show me one person. There's 7 point something billion people out there, they say. Show me somebody else on the earth who's been going harder for humanity for the last 8+ years. It's now been over 8 years. Show me. And again, not for a minute really has belief been the thing that's driving me. It's just been more about knowing that we're in a really bad spot. Censorship's a real thing. Time to speak out is limited. Bad agendas are coming. The next 9/11's coming. Now it's here. Again, these are the types of things. Paying attention to reality, understanding what moment we're living in, understanding what humanity needs to do to attempt to stop what's in motion. All it takes for evil to flourish is for good men to do nothing. Good men and women will change the quote too. I wasn't going to be part of the good people doing nothing. And again, how many good Christians are doing nothing because of their belief system? They're not doing nothing, they're praying. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, again, the power to prayer is right here. It's that first rule of Hermeticism. All is mental. If you're praying, you're putting your mind towards something. So I'm not saying that prayer is all bad. I'm not. But I'm just saying, if all you're doing is praying, You know, like if your prayer is, God, give me the power to go out and confront, my community and help them wake up to the tyranny and have the courage to stand up against the mind control. Like if that's your prayer, to me, that's a great prayer. Praying to have the courage to go out and do what you need to do. And, but see, you're praying for the strength to act. You're not praying for somebody to come save you. See? And, I prayed a lot as a child. I don't really pray that much anymore, to be perfectly honest. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I pray. Like, the last time I prayed recently was for a guy who's been trashing me lately, Dr. Savage 84. I saw what happened to him, and it made me feel really bad. So I prayed, in case somebody is listening, in case somehow that does help. Because, that's my thought. It's like, well, I don't know how else to help Dr. Savage 84 right now, but he asked for prayers, and man, that's too bad that happened to him. So, I guess sometimes, like, if you feel like there's not really anything you can do, you can pray and see if it helps. But ultimately, if you believe God made us, and we are capable. Like, if there's a problem, I think God made it so that you can see the problem, and then you have the ability to act. And almost nobody's doing that. Again, that's what the word wisdom means. Maybe that's what we should talk about next week. What is wisdom? Wisdom is really taking the knowledge you have and then putting it into action. How many of you have the knowledge but aren't doing anything with it besides just accumulating more? Again, it's good to seek information and have knowledge, but if you're not doing anything with it, then what's the point? So, when I was out pounding pavement every single day, I want to get back to it. I've been debating on getting another vehicle because Sweet Lady has the vehicle all the time right now because of what she's doing. But anyway, I do want to get back to pounding pavement for all you guys who missed that. But when I was out there for 2 months straight every single day, I was hoping that it would inspire more people to go out and do the same thing. And there were people that got inspired and went out and did the same thing. From Bart to the young man who with the big muscles and then the several other people who did it. But, it was like a handful. It was a handful of people who went out and did it. I was hoping that just a bunch of people in this community would get out and start doing it all over. I feel like if 1,000 people were out on their corners getting out the word, there'd just be, maybe that's enough for the spark to just be like, wait a minute, I heard about that going on in that town too. Wow, somebody was out doing it in that town as well. And then, but again, the point I'm making, you guys, is it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of people out there that actually want to do any kind of action to make the world better. There's a lot of people that want to know about what's going wrong and know what's going on, but not just so few that are willing to do anything about it. And again, it has to be more than just getting out and getting the message on the corner. But again, we got to wake up our fellow man and build our numbers to make the action that needs to happen. And yeah, I don't know, man. So again, for all of you guys who pray, I think what you need to pray for is not for my soul, but pray that humanity finds its courage, because it seems like it's missing. I think that's what most people don't have. They don't have the courage to go out and do what needs to be done. I don't think I have that problem. I think I've always had the ability to do what needs to be done, even if I was going to get in trouble for it. So, yeah, and I wish you Christians would realize that. Again, that's part of the reason that I think your belief system's silly, and you guys should see it too. If your religion's so divine and it's the pinnacle and the greatest truth, then how come there's nobody in your community? And I don't. This might piss you off, but I'm pretty sure it's true. How come there's nobody in your community doing anything a fraction as important as what I've been doing the last 8 years? Real question. And if I'm wrong about that, let me know who it was. Let me know who it is. Who in the Christian community is doing something real important right now to expose the real evil, and who's responsible and whose name they're doing it in, which is the name of Jesus, the society of Jesus. How come that's not, how come this great truth's not coming from the Christian world? You know? Why wasn't it a Christian who exposed the code? Real question. You know, who are your big Christian YouTubers? Is it a call for an uprising? A guy who doesn't even have the courage to put his face on the screen? Kind of guy that'll make 20 videos about me talking about how weak and puny I am and how ugly my face is and how much stronger and handsome he is and how he'd kick my ass? I mean, he has like 20 videos like that about me. Is your great Christian leader a call for an uprising? What important information is he bringing to the table? That the Illuminati likes the all-seeing eye? Did you know that before you watched his channel? You know? Is he the great Christian leader? There used to be, I forget what his name was. He was a blonde-haired guy. He had a real popular channel, about 500,000 subscribers. Big Christian guy. He did one video in his time kind of dissing my work. And some of you probably remember who I'm talking about, but he ended up quitting YouTube because it came out that he was having a sexual relationship with another man. Honestly, I don't know why Christians are actually so hung up on the homosexuality thing. I know that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah condemns homosexuality, but Christianity says not to judge. So I don't know why so many Christians are out on the street, you know, with their signs about fags will burn in hell and all this. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in my lifetime I talked to Christians on the street with signs like that, and I said, do you really think that's the thing Jesus cares the most about? You know, like, out of all the things that are wrong in the world, that's the thing he's most bent on? I don't know. I don't know, man. And again, don't think that I'm advocating for homosexuality. I'm not. It's just, I mean, these are your people, Jesus? There's so much evil going on in the world, and the greatest evil, like, I'd have to ask him point blank. It'd be like in the years after 9/11 as we're sending our young people off to war based on lies, and say, you don't think God cares more, like, about exposing the criminals that run this nation and the needless war and killing they're starting? You don't think, like, that's even more severe than homosexuality? And these guys will literally think for a second, they'll be like, nope, I think it all starts with homosexuality. I'm just like, I really don't think that's where it all starts. I do think there's something to more and more people becoming homosexual. I think that there is a reason for that. It's also part of this gang running the show, estrogen in the water and whatnot. But yeah, I've just noticed these religious types, man, they seem to be missing the point more often than misguided, focused on things. I mean, what are most Christians so inspired to do? Go stand outside abortion clinics and rag on women who probably do not want to be in that situation at all? You know, I mean, is that the highest thing that you can do? Why aren't you out in front of the Pentagon ragging on the military department that's blowing up women and children all over the world for God knows what reason? You know? You've never seen that. You've never seen the gathering of Christians outside the Pentagon to condemn, you know, the military slaughter of innocents worldwide in the name of greed and lies and corporate profits. You've never seen it. But you'll see them out there harassing poor women going to the abortion clinic. And again, who thinks abortion's the right thing? I don't even think a woman going in there would tell you she thinks it's the right thing. You know? It's just all part of this sick, perverted world we live in that has so many things wrong with it. Again, if we lived in a world where people had community and cared about one another, I think you'd see the abortion rate go way down, because then women would be like, you know what? Maybe I'm not in a place to help raise this child by myself, but I got my community behind me. I got my neighbors, you know. I got local food all around. I'm not going to have to worry about the extra expense of feeding another mouth when I already don't have enough for myself and the 2 children I already have, you know. And Christians will say, well, these women shouldn't be having sex then. Maybe you got a point, but still, I mean, I'm just pointing out that these are the things that Christians are motivated to do. This is the only place you really see them acting. And it's like, are these actions helpful to society? Isn't there something better they could be doing? Isn't there a greater evil they could be helping stop? So, I don't know. I'm just throwing a lot of different thoughts out there. And rambling on a little bit, but yeah, I just don't see beliefs being helpful to humanity. So, the placebo effect, the power of the mind, if anything. But realize, it doesn't matter what you're going to believe in. If you're going to believe in that, it can help you achieve your goal. So, but also just thinking that and having a positive focus and never quitting and just, continuing at your goal. Same type of effect. So, okay. I think I'm going to leave it there, Truth Seeker. Everything that I wanted to present, it's on gematriaeffect.news. I'll just save it for tomorrow. I'll probably present it first thing tomorrow when I get up, assuming we don't wake up to more of the latest propaganda to keep up with. But, you know what? Tomorrow. Well, it's already tomorrow on the East Coast. And in Australia, it's already October 7th, but in Afghanistan, it's already October 7th. October 7th is the anniversary of us invading Afghanistan. See if they give us anything related to that, since it'll be the 20-year anniversary. Last time terrorism was really the big thing in the news was September 3rd, the Countdown supermarket shooting in New Zealand, which we covered. But, yeah, remember, military is 107. October 7th leaves 85 days left in the year. Templar 85, Isus Hominum Salvator 85, Christ 85, the Templars, the Jesuits, the military order in service of Jesus, spreading the name of Jesus in what fashion? Militaristic fashion. The United States of America, a military empire that believes in Jesus. 9/11, a nation of Christians who turned a blind eye to an obvious lie as we killed God knows how many innocent people who are mostly Muslim, and that's why we mostly didn't care, because they're a different religious group. So, again, for the Christian out there, I'd contend that the reason your community's not like doing anything that helpful to fight evil in the cabal, which I'm pretty sure is true, is because you guys are a part of it. And I don't know how you guys don't see that, honestly. That's why so many Christians didn't care that we were invading nations that were Islamic and truly killing innocent people. They didn't want to think about that. They didn't want to think that could be the case. They just wanted to take sides. They're part of America. They're part of Team Christianity, and they're part of the Middle East. These Muslim infidels, these non-believers. So, whatever. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, because we're going to keep coming at similar topics for TFR. I know it's Gematria Effect News, but again, Gematria Effect News isn't having the impact on the people that it should, because the people are just believing and not thinking, and my work's about thinking and thought and logic and proof. And those are things that just don't matter to believers, and that's a problem. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave it there, and until next time.